Welcome to Sunday Night with Old Time Radio, 6th of April, 2025. We're delighted that you can join us tonight, and we hope that you'll always be a visitor. We offer what we hope you'll find to be the best of the golden age of radio, and some modern productions too. We broadcast from 8 to 11 every Sunday night, Central Time. If you're hearing this on YouTube, feel free to leave a comment. We welcome criticism, praise, and we particularly enjoy your suggestions for other radio programs to air. Again, thanks for joining us. And let's begin tonight with explaining what we'll be hearing. We begin with Stardust Time, which is a kind of preview or a advertisement for Fibber, McGee, and Molly. We move then to Abroad with the Lockharts. We haven't heard from them for a while. They're touring London. Next, Father Knows Best. We have Sonny and Buddy, and then Frontier Gentlemen. Next, we have Dragnet, and then we move to Police Headquarters. Up next, then, is Theater 5. Its title for tonight's program is Rebellion Next Week. Be interesting for you to hear who is rebelling. Finally, we have another episode of Plumhouse. Lots to listen to. Let's get started.
It's Stardust Time with Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
McGee? Heavenly days, McGee. What's the matter with you today? You've been sitting around looking like a mother basset hound with 8 pups.
That's about the way I feel, Molly. I guess it's this gosh awful rainy weather. Seems to take the crease right out of my pants. The starch out of my spinal column.
Well, the weather never affected your mood before, dearie.
Well, I remember back in Peoria, sometimes I'd get so blue my nose would really be dragging. Blue Nose McGee, I was known as in them days.
Oh, my.
Blue Nose McGee, the bright boy badly besieged by big burdensome bothers, bogged down in a bed of bleak and boring blackness, bombarded by the blues from blank breakfast to unbearable bedtimes, blackening the beings of otherwise bucolic buddies from the briny beaches of balmy Burma to the baking badlands of Bulgaria.
And here I always thought of you as being a person who was on an even keel.
Molly, my keel may be even, but on a day like this, my stern is sure sinking.
Well, you're inside where it's nice and dry. Why don't you just forget about the rain?
Oh, I've tried to, Molly, but every time I look out the window, I'm reminded of the whole thing all over again. Oh, gloom. Oh, misery. Oh, such similar sayings of downright rejection.
McGee, I'm not going to sit around and watch you sink deeper and deeper into this thing. If the weather's responsible, we'll just pull down the shades and pretend that it's a sunny day outside.
Say, that's an idea, Molly. You catch the shades and I'll turn on all the lights in this room. That way I can convince myself that nothing nasty is going on outdoors.
I think that's a wonderful idea.
Oh, so do I. It's almost good enough for me to have thought of it myself.
Well, the shades are down. Do you have all the lights on?
Yep. Nary a nook nor cranny is steeped in gloom. But I'm still not getting the mental picture of a sunny day outside. Boy, seems more like the middle of the night with overtones of a total eclipse.
Well, use your imagination. It's a beautiful day outside. The sun is shining, and the flowers are blooming.
Oh, don't overdo it. I also get depressed during heat waves.
Well, we're not pretending there's a heat wave. In fact, the temperature is just right. It's a perfect sunshiny day. Now are you getting the feeling?
I'm getting it all right, and it's making me more depressed than ever.
How could that be?
It depresses me to have to stay inside on such a beautiful day as this. I can't go outdoors on account of because it's pouring down rain. Doggone it, Molly, now I really am miserable.
Fibber, McGee, and Molly.
Once again, we are abroad with the Lockharts, who are taking a trip through Europe. That is, Mrs. Lockhart is taking Mr. Lockhart. Here we find this typical Mr. and Mrs. enjoying the sights of London and of rural England. probably know, Mr. Lockhart represents the average businessman. Blunt, comfortable, knows his own mind, enjoys his business and his home community, and would much rather have gone fishing. Mrs. Lockhart is the pleasant type, a good housekeeper, belongs to the Woman's Club and the Literary Club of her town, and still retains the spirit of romance. We listen in to them as they are about to take a sightseeing trip around London.
Here we are, dear. This is the sightseeing bus.
Lord, I'll feel foolish sitting up there.
No, you won't. Everybody else does it. Now, let's sit in the middle of the bus.
No, let's sit up there near the driver.
Oh, I think it's nicer back here.
Well, I want to be near the guide so I can ask him questions.
But, dear, they don't want to be pestered with questions when they're explaining things.
Now, my dear, you brought me over on this trip to find out things, and I'm going to find them out.
All right, dear. Have it your own way, but do be tactful.
I'm always tactful.
Look, they're getting ready to start. There's our guide. He looks a nice person.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. We've a nice morning for our drive around the historical parts of the great city of London, the crossroads of the empire.
Excuse me, guide.
Yes, sir?
What are we going to see this morning?
If I told you that now, sir, you wouldn't have any nice surprises left. All in good time. All right, Harry, let's get started. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, kindly give me your attention, please. We shall start the drive right here at Marble Arch. If you'll kindly look on your left, you will see the arch, and you will notice it is made of marble, and that is how it gets its name, Marble Arch. We are now passing down Park Lane. There's the park over on your right, and here's the lane, and thus we get Park Lane.
Can you understand him, dear?
Pretty well.
Well, I can't.
In the park every Sunday, the British working man is allowed free speech when he can holler, "Down with the government, down with the House of Lords."
Guide, doesn't the government stop them from hollering down with the government?
Oh, no, sir, they couldn't do that. There'd be a revolution. But as long as they let him talk about it, the British working man is quite happy, sir.
Well, why don't we stop here?
Oh, there's too much to see, sir. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, we are in Piccadilly. On your left are some of London's exclusive hotels. On your right is St. James Street. And at the bottom is St. James Palace, residence of the Prince of Wales. You ought to pay a visit there before you leave London.
Well, now, dear, these are the places we want to stop and see.
I know, dear, but maybe they don't go there on this trip.
And here's the famous Leicester Square, the Times Square of London. Great theatrical and amusement centre, particularly, if I may say so, after 11 o'clock at night.
Guide, why after 11 o'clock at night?
I'll tell you that on the QT, sir. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, we are approaching Trafalgar Square, one of the finest open spaces in Europe. On the top of the monument in the centre stands Lord Nelson, who said, "England expects that every man this day will do his duty, and that's why I'm here this morning."
And what did Nelson do?
He's chiefly noted, sir, for winning the Battle of Trafalgar Bay, losing an eye, and keeping Lady Hamilton happy. We are now proceeding down Whitehall. In the far distance is Buckingham Palace, on your right is the Admiralty Arch, and on your left is the famous Scotland Yard you've all read about.
Where's the yard? I don't see any yard.
Dear, don't ask so many questions.
Why, they've put a building up on it now, sir. It used to be right there where I'm pointing, and many's the time I've seen Mr. Sherlock Holmes walk across that very yard.
But wasn't he a fictitious character?
He might have been to you, ma'am, but he was very real to me.
Why do they call it Scotland Yard?
Oh, don't ask so many questions, Will.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, next on your left is the banqueting hall of Whitehall Palace. You see the little window up there in the centre?
Which one? There's about 100 of them up there.
The little one, sir. That's where King Charles I lost his head.
What for?
Don't ask so many questions, Will.
For not giving a right answer, sir. He said no when he should have said yes. And if I may say so, he's the only king in history to have lost his head twice because of those two little words.
How was that?
Why, sir, he lost his head the first time when he said yes to Nell Gwyn, and he lost it the second time when he said no to Cromwell.
You have a sense of humor, haven't you?
Well, sir, I do like my little joke, if I do say so. There's not much pleasure in taking tourists around every day, you know. It's in one ear and out the other. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, on your right is the Horse Guard. You can see the horses, and the guards are sitting on top of them, and thus we have the horse guard.
Now, don't they look a picture, Will?
Who, the horses?
No, silly, the guards.
We are now passing Downing Street, and at number 10 is the residence of the Prime Minister of England.
I've got to see that. Now, where is that guide?
I'm sorry, sir, we've just passed it. And now, ladies and gentlemen, you have your first glimpse of the House of Lords, commonly called the Old Ladies' Home.
Do we go inside there?
No, sir, you can only obtain entrance by permission. Principally, I think, because it interferes with their sleep. Now then, ladies and gentlemen, over on your right is a statue of Abraham Lincoln contemplating Westminster Abbey. And if I may say so, the greatest man of America and the greatest building in England.
Well, now there's old Abe himself right here in the heart of London.
Now, isn't that fine of them?
It certainly is. But this fellow, this guide, talks so fast I can't understand a word he says.
And you said slow old England, Will.
Now then, ladies and gentlemen, we are now proceeding along the embankment with the River Thames on your right, representing, if I may say so, the liquid history of England. And finally, we will arrive at the Tower of London, which we shall visit.
What did he call the River Thames?
The liquid history of England. Rather pretty, isn't it, dear?
Sounds to me like a slogan for Scotch whiskey.
Oh, Will.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, here we are at the Tower of London, representing the good old days of Merry England and bluff King Harold, the man, if I may say so, who made divorce fashionable. Follow me, please, and keep close together. Oh, you see that man over there in the uniform? He's one of the guards of the tower. They call him the Beef Eaters. That chap, I know him, though. He's a vegetarian. We are now standing on Tower Hill. From the year 1388, 17 executions were performed on the very spot you're standing on, madam.
Oh, mercy.
Follow me, please. Ahead of us now is the Tower Moat. You see the square window up there? Well, from that window, ladies and gentlemen, Lady Jane Grey saw her husband's headless body brought in from Tower Hill.
Good gracious.
My lord.
Ah, those were the good old days of England. Merry England, not off. This way, please.
Goodness. The things they did in those days, Will.
I'll never again say these people are slow. This bird has me gasping for breath already.
Here we are, please. Now keep close together. The spot you are now standing on, ladies and gentlemen, is called Tower Green. Very much visited nowadays, and very much avoided, if I may say so, in those good old days I've just mentioned. This was Henry VIII's favourite parting place.
Now that's better. That's more interesting and pleasant.
Who did he part from here, Mr. Guide?
Why, sir, this is where he said goodbye to his second wife, Queen Anne Boleyn, and his fifth wife, Queen Catherine Howard.
How do you mean he said goodbye?
Why, madam, old Henry cut off Anne Boleyn's head here in May 1536.
Heavens.
And Catherine Howard dead 6 years later in 1542.
Oh, dear.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, would anyone like to visit the Bloody Tower?
Oh, no, gracious, no.
No, I guess we've had enough.
Just as you like, sir. Then we'll return to the motor and go back to the hotel.
Well, dear, I'm glad of one thing.
What's that?
That we're going to the lovely Lake District tomorrow to see where Wordsworth lived.
Wordsworth? Who was he?
Why, the poet, dear, you remember. I read one of his poems at the Women's Club back home.
Oh, well, do you know what would please me more than anything right now?
What, dear?
To be able to step into a child's restaurant and order up a good cup of coffee.
All through Wordsworth's cottage where he wrote his beautiful poems. Wasn't it delightful, dear, and so quaint?
Yes, but I don't see how they ever lived in those tiny cottages.
Look, dear, there's an old character. He must be the man who owns the blacksmith shop. Look, he's coming towards us.
Good day to you.
Good day to you.
A fine day it is for seeing the cottage yonder.
Yes, it's a nice day.
But fine or wet, there'll be always folk a-coming to visit the cottage. Now, Do you mind telling me what it is you think you were going to see in there?
Well, it's Wordsworth's cottage, and he was a very famous man.
Famous, you call it?
Yes, and a poet. And we came to see the place where he lived and worked.
Oh, worked, you call it. Aye, that's what you all think, but I'll tell you different. Old Wadsworth, that's what we called him. He never did a stroke of work in his life.
Oh, well, I don't see how you could say that.
Well, ma'am, I'll tell you, and it's a very disappointing tale, too.
Will, come here. Don't go away.
Yes, your husband will like to listen. Me father knew old Wadsworth. Me grandfather knew him, and a queer man he was. Silent, unfriendly.
Was he really?
He was that. He never bid the time of day to anyone. He'd go on down there to that bit of a rock by the lake that you call Wadsworth Seat, and he'd sit there all day and do nothing. Nothing, mind you, but look at the water and the mountains. We thought he was daft.
Yes, I suppose you would.
Now, you can call that work if you've a mind to, but I'm telling you, old Wadsworth never did a stroke of work in his life. And then he ups and he dies, and all the people say what a fine man he was, till me father was nearly fit to bile. And now they charge a shilling to see where he lived. And yet here was my grandfather, and then me father, and now me, working here by the sweat of our brow and the toil of our hands, from sunrise to sunset. And what do we get out of it? Nothing, young lady. And I tell you, with no shillings coming our way, and very few horses, life is very disappointing.
Well, now, that's a very interesting story. Dear, you see what he's after?
Certainly I do, and he deserves it. Here, my friend, have a glass of beer on me.
And me, too.
Now, that's very kind of you. And I'll drink your health tonight, I will. And thank you again.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Good day to you, and God bless you both. Well, my dear, what do you think of that for technique?
Why, I think it was the most delightful experience I've ever had.
Say, did I say the English were slow?
You did.
I'm dead wrong.
He's dead wrong. And so we leave the Lockharts enjoying the beauty of the English Lake District and the charm of London. Next week, we shall find them again, crossing the English Channel and arriving in Paris, where they continue their experiences abroad.
Mother, is Maxwell House really the only coffee in the world?
Well, your father says so, and your father knows best.
Yes, it's Father Knows Best, transcribed in Hollywood, starring Robert Young as father. A half-hour visit with your neighbors, the Andersons, brought to you by Maxwell House, the coffee that's bought and enjoyed by more people than any other brand of coffee at any price. Maxwell House, always good to the last drop. All great men, it seems, are born on special days. Abraham Lincoln, for example, was born on Lincoln's birthday. Coincidence, isn't it? In Springfield, where Jim Anderson was born, they do things in a slightly different manner. So Jim shares his birthday with George Washington. That was yesterday, and in the white frame house on Maple Street, they had quite a time. It went something like this.
Bud,
You want me, Mom?
are you almost finished down there?
Just about. I have to put up one more string of balloons.
Well, please hurry, dear. Your father will be home any minute.
Okay.
Did you get Mr. Gribble, Mother?
Oh, dear, I knew there was something. He's the only one I couldn't reach. It's too bad because I know your father'd like him to be here.
I bet Daddy's gonna be surprised.
Well, if he isn't, it won't be our fault. And if you say one word to him...
Oh, I won't, Betty. I didn't this morning, did I?
No, but you certainly came close a couple of times. And that dopey little smile you dug up. You look like the Mona Lisa, junior grade.
What's that?
Never mind.
Betty, you know, I'm not sure that we did the right thing at breakfast.
How's that, Mother?
Well, your father looked so hurt. The least we could have done was wish him a happy birthday.
Oh, no, Mommy.
Mother, you're going to spoil everything. Father even said birthdays weren't important when you got to be his age.
I know, dear, but...
And if he knows that we remembered his birthday, he might suspect something.
Everything's all finished, Mom.
Oh, that's fine, Bud. Oh, you've done a wonderful job, all of you.
And I haven't even said anything.
Now, don't forget, Bud, you've got to get Father out of the house at 7:45.
Yeah, I know. But holy cow, how am I going to do that?
Bud, you don't want him to see the people when they come in, do you? It's a surprise party.
But how am I going to get him out?
Jumping creepers, you only have to get him out for 15 minutes. What's so hard about that?
Well, if it's so easy, why don't you do it?
Daddy's home.
Oh, the sandwiches, Betty. Put them in the pantry.
Okay.
He isn't coming in here.
Well, that's peculiar. I'd better go in and see. Jim,
Yes?
we thought we heard you come in, dear. Is anything wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. Nothing important, anyway.
Jim, you sound so strange.
Hiya, Dad. What goes?
Hi, Daddy.
Hello. I'll be in the den when dinner's ready.
Now, just a minute, Jim Anderson. You're not going to walk away from us like that.
We didn't do anything.
Oh, you didn't, huh?
Jim, if there's anything wrong, we have a right to know what it is.
You have a right to know what it is, do you? You haven't the faintest idea. All right, I'll tell you what it is. I don't ask for a great deal from this family. A minimum of respect and courtesy, that's all. But I certainly think that when a man's birthday comes around...
Oh, Jim.
Well, the least you can do is remember it.
Jim Anderson.
And stop looking at me as though I had 3 heads. All of you. It isn't the least bit funny.
Jim, darling, I was telling the children just before you got here that...
Mother! Something's burning in the kitchen.
Burning? Why, Betty, I turned off all... Oh. Well, I'd better go and see what it is.
Man works hard for his wife and family and tries to give them all the advantages he can manage. And what thanks does he get? They don't even remember his birthday.
Holy cow, Dad. You said birthdays didn't mean anything.
When did I say that?
When you forgot Mom's.
But I did not forget your mother's birthday. If you'll remember, I bought her the largest bottle of perfume in Springfield. Not that I expected you to buy anything for me, of course.
Of course.
I don't care anything about getting presents. I mean, even a small thing like a necktie or something.
Dad.
It isn't a gift, it's the thought behind it that counts.
Dad.
And it isn't as though it were a hard day to remember. I mean, like October 19th or August 64th or something like that.
Dad.
But Washington's birthday, the easiest day of the whole year. How could you possibly forget?
Dad.
What is it, Bud?
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
I'll get it, Father.
Never mind, I'll answer it myself. Man has a birthday once a year, and nobody even remembers it. Fine thing. Hello? Oh, hello, Mr. Gribble. Yes, just fine, thank you. You what? What message? I didn't leave any message. To call me? Are you sure? Well, just a minute. I'll ask Margaret. Margaret,
Yes, dear.
did you call Mr. Gribble?
What was that, dear?
I said, did you call Mr. Gribble?
Mr. Gribble? Why should I call Mr. Gribble, dear?
Margaret, the man's on the phone. He got a message to call us. I didn't leave any message.
Well, Jim, what possible reason could I have for calling Mr. Gribble?
If that isn't just like a woman. All you had to say was no.
Yes, dear.
Hello, Mr. Gribble. Well, Margaret doesn't know anything about it. Well, they probably got the name wrong. You know how it is. Oh, by the way, New York sent me the revised figures on that compensation setup. All right, anytime you say. No, I'll be free all evening. 8 o'clock? Fine. See you later.
Jim, you're not going to meet Mr. Gribble tonight.
Why not?
Well, it's your birthday.
What's that got to do with it? My birthday certainly wasn't important a few minutes ago.
Jim, I don't know how the children are going to feel about this.
Father, we've just had the most wonderful idea.
Wait till you hear it, Dad.
We're going to have a wonderful time. All of us.
Now, just a minute. Your mother was about to tell me something.
I know. I mean, she was?
It's all right, Jim. I guess it wasn't important.
Well, you want to know. What is it, Betty?
Well, Father, even if we did forget your birthday, we're all very sorry.
Yes?
And we've decided to devote our entire evening to making you happy.
Fine. I won't even be here.
But you can't go out, Father. You'll spoil everything.
What do you mean?
Well, tell him, Bud.
What? Well, we had a lot of things figured out to do, Dad.
Like what?
Well, we thought that we'd play the radio.
He means games, Father. We'll all play games.
Like spin the bottle.
Oh, fine. I can't think of anything I'd enjoy more than a good, fast game of spin the bottle. Unfortunately, I have to work.
But you can't work, Father, not on your birthday.
I worked all day.
I know, but you can't work at night.
New law, huh?
The man on the radio said it was going to snow. Or rain. Or something.
Margaret.
Yes, dear?
There seems to have developed a concerted and rather unusual desire for my company. How come?
Well, frankly, Jim.
Mother.
We hope that if we made your evening a pleasant one, you might forgive us for not remembering your birthday. We could even have a little celebration.
Just the 5 of us.
And we could make popcorn.
And get some ice cream.
It'd be just like a regular party, Daddy.
Well...
You'd make us all very happy, dear.
I don't get it. If my birthday means that much to you...
Oh, it does, Father.
It sure does.
Why did you forget it in the first place?
We're stupid.
Well, all right. I'll call Gribble and tell him we'll make it tomorrow.
Gee, that's great, Dad.
Would you like me to call him for you, Father?
No, I'd better do it myself. He's certainly going to wonder if I got all my buttons. Make an appointment and then cancel it 5 minutes later.
I'm sure he'll understand, Jim.
I wish I could be that sure. Hello, Mr. Gribble. This is Jim Anderson. Well, about that appointment for tonight, you see, it's my birthday, and I guess it slipped my mind. Yes. Well, birthdays don't mean very much to me anymore, but, my family wants me to stay home with them. You know how it is. Yes. Suppose I call you in the morning, Mr. Gribble. Right. What? Oh, thank you very much. Good night. Well, I guess that takes care of that. Something wrong, Kathy?
No, I was just thinking.
About what?
George Washington.
Oh. Well, dinner about ready?
Oh, just about, dear.
I'd better go upstairs and wash. Fine family. 1 minute they don't even know it's your birthday, and the next they'll die if you leave them alone.
Wow, that was a close one.
Well, as long as he didn't leave, everything's going to be all right.
And I didn't even say anything.
I know, dear. You were a very good girl.
Say, Mom.
Yes, Bud?
There's only one thing I don't understand.
What's that, dear?
We got him to stay home. Now how am I going to get him out?
Well, Bud's got to figure that one out for himself. You know, we all do in lots of ways, as some of you may have found out just recently.
About coffee in particular. Have you been shopping around more for your coffee since the price went up? Trying this brand and that in the name of economy? If you have, I'll bet lots of you have discovered this fact. Maxwell House is true economy. A friend of my wife's did. She was telling us just the other night. You see, when prices went up, she started buying cheaper coffee. Might not taste as good, she figured, but it ought to be more economical. First thing she found, though, it took lots more to make the breakfast coffee strong enough. And even then, the flavor just wasn't there. So meal after meal, her family would leave their cups unfinished. She said, that settled it for me. Maxwell House is true economy. Sure it is. Because you get so many more truly good cups of coffee from every pound. Just see how much more your family enjoys that wonderful Maxwell House flavor. So good to the last drop, they drink every drop. Discover the extra freshness, the clear, rich taste that's vacuum-packed in that familiar blue tin. You'll say Maxwell House is true economy. So get your money's worth and more. Get Maxwell House. Always good to the last drop.
It's 7:45 in the White Frame House on Maple Street, and time for Jim's surprise birthday party. With great effort, the Andersons have managed to keep Father at home. Now, with the guests about to arrive, they can't get rid of him. Like this.
Dad,
Yes, Bud?
after you finish the paper, you wouldn't like to go down to the drugstore with me, would you?
Why do you have to go to the drugstore?
I don't.
I imagine you can explain that, but I'd just as soon you didn't.
Well, I just thought that... Would you like to take a walk?
No, thank you.
Go for a ride?
No, thank you.
You want to clean out the garage?
Bud, what's the matter with you?
Nothing. Let's go sit upstairs in my room.
What for?
Well, it's comfortable.
I'm quite comfortable right where I am.
Yeah, huh?
Yeah. And stop fidgeting.
Bud, could I speak to you for a minute, please?
Okay. Excuse me, will you, Dad?
Oh, sure. Whenever you're free, stop back and we'll figure out some more places I don't want to go.
For crying out loud, Betty, now what's the matter?
You're supposed to have him out of here. It's 7:45.
But he won't go.
He has to go. Everybody will be here any minute.
Well, what do you want me to do about it? I can't hit him over the head. It's his birthday.
Bud, what's going on out there?
Nothing, Dad. I'll be with you in a minute.
You better go back, Bud, and see if he can't think of something.
Where are you going?
Back into the kitchen. I've got to talk to Mom. This is getting desperate.
Has your father gone, dear?
No, he's sitting in there as big as life. A lot of help Bud turned out to be.
Well, Betty, we may as well face it. We're not going to get your father out of the house.
But we have to, Mother.
It'll spoil everything.
Maybe not. We can do it another way. I'll just put a note on the front porch asking everybody to come in the back way.
But Daddy'll hear him.
Oh, I don't think so.
He will, Mother. He's bound to hear them going down to the playroom.
Not if you're all singing.
Oh, that's an idea.
Why do we have to sing?
So Father won't hear anything. It's a wonderful idea, Mother.
Well, it's the best we can do.
Margaret!
Just a minute. Yes, Jim?
What are you doing in there?
We'll be finished in a few minutes, dear.
Well, hurry up, will you, before Bud shoves me out the front door.
All right, dear. Now, remember, girls, sing, and loud if you hear anything. Now, I'll go around to the front and leave the note.
All right, Mother. Come on, Kathy.
Gee whiz, why do we have to sing? I don't feel like singing.
Tell your father I'll join you in about 5 minutes.
Okay, Mother.
Betty, what are we gonna sing?
What difference does that make?
Well, how can I sing loud if I don't know what I'm singing?
Well, we'll sing the birthday song.
We can't. That's what they're gonna sing at the party.
How about For He's a Jolly Good Fellow?
Why?
Because it's loud.
I know louder ones.
That's loud enough. Hi, Father.
We're gonna sing.
Hi, where's your mother?
She said she'd be right in.
Well, I guess I'd better...
Betty, it isn't cold in here, is it?
A little. Why?
Oh, you can feel cold. Dad says he wants to go down and look at the furnace.
The furnace. Oh, no, it's hot. It's very hot. Isn't it, Kathy?
What is?
The house. It's hotter than it's ever been.
It's roasting.
I don't think so.
Father, please don't worry about the furnace. It's your birthday, and we're going to have all kinds of fun.
Betty, you and Bud wouldn't have any bodies buried in the basement, would you?
Bodies? Well, why would we want to put bodies in the basement? We keep all our bodies in the attic, don't we, Bud?
Yeah, we sure do. Boy, that's a good one.
Kathy, have they been like this all day?
Who?
Betty and Bud.
Why?
I'm going inside to see your mother.
No, you can't.
Now, just a minute. I've had just about enough of this. What's going on around here?
Oh, why, nothing, Dad. We just want you to have a good time.
Well, if this is your idea of a good time... What was that?
What was what? I didn't hear anything. Did you, Kathy?
Oh, no.
I distinctly heard somebody at the back door.
Oh, that was Mother. She took the garbage out.
I took it out before.
Maybe she's bringing it back.
Bud, how would you like to go to bed? Right now.
Holy cow, Dad. All I said was...
Father, we're supposed to be having a party, so why don't we all sing? We haven't done anything like that all winter.
Well, you know, we haven't at that, by golly. That's a good idea.
I said it before and nobody even listened.
Well, we'll listen now, honey. Come on, Betty, you can play for us.
All right, Father. Would you please get me a cushion from the couch?
Gladly, Your Highness. Your slightest wish is my command.
What's going on?
Mother's bringing everybody in the back way.
Oh.
And we have to sing He's a Jolly Good Fellow, loud.
Shh. One cushion coming up. There you are, Betty.
Thank you, Father.
This might turn out to be quite a party after all. Now, what do we sing?
Well, Betty said that...
Kathy, be quiet.
It's your birthday, Dad. Why don't you pick it?
All right. How about,
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. Which nobody can deny.
What was that for?
That's for your birthday, Dad.
Oh, well, thank you.
Which nobody can deny. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. Which nobody can deny.
Well, that's very nice. Thank you. Now, how about Down by the Old Mill Stream?
It's kind of corny, isn't it, Dad?
It isn't very loud either.
Now, just a minute, both of you. It isn't your birthday, it's Father's. And if he wants to sing Down by the Old Mill Stream, why, that's what we'll sing. Right, Father?
Right.
For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. Which nobody can deny.
Well,
Which nobody can deny. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. For he's a jolly good fellow. Which nobody can deny.
what happened to Down by the Old Mill Stream?
We'll have lots of time for that, Father. We were
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
This is getting a little monotonous, isn't it?
Which nobody can deny. For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny.
Well, now that we've done Down by the Old Mill Stream, how about,
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow.
Betty,
for
I
he's
said
a
stop
jolly
it,
good
all of you.
fellow,
Stop it!
nobody can deny.
What's gotten into you? Don't you know how to sing anything else?
But it's your birthday, Father, and that's so loud.
Well, aren't you having a fine time?
Margaret, what's the matter with these children? They're behaving like a bunch of lowercase lunatics.
Well, my, isn't it chilly in here?
Mother.
Oh, but it is, dear. I think your father ought to go down and take a look at the furnace.
You do?
I certainly do.
You mean we don't have to sing anymore?
Later, dear.
I don't know. If this isn't the goofiest family in the United States, it certainly comes close.
Yes, dear, but the furnace, remember?
It's awfully chilly, Father.
Oh, it is it? 5 minutes ago, you were roasting.
Well, I know, but now I'm cold. We're freezing.
It won't take you a minute, Jim. Please take a look at it.
Oh, for crying out loud.
Don't be long, dear.
I won't. Silliest darn family I've ever seen in my life. Stay home, go out. Fix the furnace, don't fix the furnace. Can't make up their minds, if any. I told them it was cold 10 minutes ago. No, I have to do it their way. Everything has to be done the way they want it.
For he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, for he's a jolly good fellow, which nobody can deny. Happy birthday.
Well, for goodness sake.
Happy birthday to you, happy birthday to you, happy birthday.
It's certainly been a mixed-up birthday for Father, but everything's straight now. You know, so often we seem to be in the midst of confusion, and then comes the light, which leads to this point.
Ladies, with coffee prices higher today, remember Maxwell House is true economy. Yes, Maxwell House is true economy. Of course, you can buy cheaper coffees in the store, but are they really economical? There's no economy in coffee when you have to use lots more to get it strong enough. And even then, you can't get the flavor you want. There's no economy in coffee so stingy with its flavor, your family leaves their cups unfinished. But Maxwell House now, Maxwell House is true economy. So many more cups of wonderfully good coffee in every pound. So extra rich and full of flavor. So good to the last drop, it leaves you wanting more. Yes, there's real reason why more people drink Maxwell House than any other brand at any price. Maxwell House is true economy. Tomorrow, ask for Maxwell House. Get your money's worth and more with coffee that's always good to the last drop.
It's quite late in the white frame house on Maple Street. Long past bedtime, as a matter of fact. The Anderson kids are sound asleep. But in the master bedroom, Jim and Margaret are busy with a pair of widely divergent thoughts, like this.
Oh, dear.
What?
Oh, nothing, dear. I was just thinking of tomorrow. They made quite a mess, didn't they?
Oh, I wouldn't worry about it too much. It was quite a party, wasn't it?
Yes, dear, it certainly was.
You know, in a way, I feel a little guilty. I mean, you and the kids had to work so hard.
Oh, we didn't mind, dear. I know the children had a wonderful time, surprising you so completely.
Well, I wouldn't say it was a complete surprise.
What was that, Mr. Washington?
Oh, well, I mean, after all, when they, Margaret,
Yes, dear.
Have you ever seen anything more beautiful than those matched irons the kids gave me?
No, dear.
If I don't break 90 with those, I'll quit.
Yes, dear.
I'd have settled for a necktie, I really would. But those irons. Now, there's a birthday present I'll never forget.
I know, dear.
Must have cost the kids a fortune.
Well, not exactly, dear. They kept watching for a sale at Gorman's.
That was a good idea.
And then they charged them.
Oh. Good night, Margaret.
Good night, dear.
If you like good things the easy way, good things the easy way, Instant Maxwell House, that's for you. Good coffee that's easy too. No time, no trouble, no grounds, no pot, and it's good to the very last you know what.
Yes, Instant Maxwell House means great coffee instantly in your cup. Here's real instant coffee, all pure Maxwell House coffee in instant form. Enjoy instant Maxwell House, instantly.
Good to the very last you know what.
Join us again next week when we'll be back with Father Knows Best, starring Robert Young as Jim Anderson, with Roy Bargy and the Maxwell House Orchestra, and yours truly, Bill Foreman.
Say, Bill.
Yes, Bob?
You won't forget about Saturday, will you?
Oh, that's right. On Saturday, February 25th, Bob Young will be in Albany, New York to attend a ceremony during which 2,000 young drivers and their parents are going to join the Robert Young Good Drivers Club and sign the man-to-man and dad-to-daughter agreements. Does that do it, Bob?
Yes, except that there's going to be a parade, and if they're looking for me, I'll be the one sitting between Governor Dewey and Mayor Corney. See you on Saturday, Albany.
That he will. And now, until next Thursday, good night and good luck from the makers of Maxwell House, America's favorite brand of coffee. Always good to the last drop. Father Knows Best was transcribed in Hollywood and written by Ed James. Now stay tuned in for Screen Guild Theater, which follows immediately over most of these stations.
Next, Laura with the original cast on Screen Guild on NBC.
Sonny and Buddy, in company with Charcoal, went back to the cave hoping to discover just what was hidden there. Buddy took the route around the side of the cave, while Sonny and Charcoal went through the main entrance. They crossed over the deep pit and under a barbed wire fence to the second entrance of the cave. There they heard sounds of a quarrel, and then... But suppose we let Sonny tell it. Here's the three of them outside the entrance as Sonny says...
Buddy, are you all right?
Yes, I'm okay.
Oh, gosh, I'm glad. I was afraid you got trapped in the cave after the explosion.
What explosion?
But didn't you hear that explosion and the whistle?
Yes, I heard the whistle. But what did you find in the cave?
Well, just as we suspected. We found a door hidden behind a big rock on the other side of that hole that you fell into. And we heard voices in behind the door. I peeked in a crack, and there were several men in there. And two of them were having a quarrel. One man pulled a gun, and the other fellow said if he didn't put down the gun, he'd throw a stick of dynamite and blow the cave all to pieces. So Charcoal blew the whistle, and we ran, just as we heard the explosion.
Oh, Sonny, that wasn't no dynamite explosion. If that man had thrown that stick of dynamite like he said he was going to do, we all wouldn't be standing here talking about it now. No, sir, we'd be knocking on the golden gates and asking St. Peter to let us in.
Well, it was some kind of an explosion, Charcoal.
Yeah, but it wasn't dynamite. That sounded like a pistol shot. I reckon when that fella threatened to throw that stick of dynamite, the other man what was holding the preserver beat him to it and shot him down. I bet 2 bits if we went back and looked in that room in the cave, we'd find a dead man there.
Do you think so, Charcoal? Let's go back and see.
No, sir, we ain't going back in that cave no more. Well, they might still be fighting it. They're liable to take another notion to blow up that cave.
Well, let's go and report it to the police. They should know all about this. Sonny, could you tell what the men were fighting about?
Yeah, something about money. And one of the men said he'd go to the police and tell all he knew about Sloppy Jim.
Oh, boy. Then we have got a clue at last. If those gangsters didn't kill Sloppy Jim, well, maybe they know who did. Come on, let's go and tell the police before they make their getaway.
Oh, wait a minute. Look at that, Sonny. That's your leg bleeding. You has been cut.
Yeah, I know it. When I was running out of the cave, I stumbled and fell and cut my knee on a rock.
Well, let's hurry back home and put some medicine on it.
Oh, it'll be all right soon.
Well, here, let's put a little piece of white paper on the cut, and that'll stop the bleeding. Have you got a piece of paper in your pocket?
No.
Oh, never mind. Here's a little piece of paper on the ground. It looks clean. Oh, it's folded up. That's good. You can take the inside of it and just wet it and stick it on the cut place on your leg.
Yeah, here, Charcoal. Hold the flashlight over here so Buddy can see how to put it on my leg.
All right.
There, that's okay. Wait a minute, Buddy. Don't tear that paper. Here, let me see it. Oh, boy!
What's the matter?
Buddy, Charcoal, look. Do you know what this piece of paper is that you were about to tear?
What is it?
Look, it's the check that the sheriff lost. Our $500 reward check.
Oh, boy, let me see it. If that isn't luck.
I'll say it is.
The sheriff said he lost that check out here somewhere.
Yeah, but he said he lost it in that hole in the cave.
Maybe the wind blew it out here.
Wait a minute. Ain't this somewhere near the spot where Jim's body was found?
Yes, sir, it sure is. Don't you remember? They found him right over there by that clump of bushes.
Come on, let's get away from this spot.
Yeah, come on. Let's hurry and show this check to the sheriff. Boy, won't he be surprised when he sees it?
Well, it's too bad you cut your knee, Sonny. But if you hadn't cut it, Buddy never would have picked up that piece of paper and found that $500 check, would you? So it's just like they say, it's a stiff wind that don't blow nobody no harm.
No, Jarko. You mean it's an ill wind that blows no good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Well, let's get back to the house car. It won't be but just a few minutes, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry to keep you waiting, but it'll be worth waiting for. Just be patient for a minute now, please, and the big show will start.
Jarko! I wonder where he could be.
Yes, just like I told you, Miss Betsy. Charcoal is gone. He's run away.
Oh, I don't think so, Sheriff. Charcoal has been with us for years.
I'd stake my life on Charcoal's honesty, Sheriff.
So would I.
Well, that don't prove nothing. Charcoal might have been the one that killed Jim, and when things got too hot for him around here, he might have got scared and run away.
But Sonny and Buddy are gone, too.
Well, they're very likely playing somewhere near, and when they hear the calliope, they'll come running. We'll go ahead with the opening, Betty, and they'll be here in a few minutes. Ladies and gentlemen, let me call your attention once more to my wonder medicine here. It's manufactured in my own plant. It's made of the purest of nature's herbs. There is absolutely nothing contained in this bottle that will hurt even the smallest child. And it will absolutely cure any ill of man or beast that can be cured by medicine. It's only $1 a bottle.
Dad! Here comes Sonny and Buddy now.
Hurry, boys, hurry! We're waiting for you. Where have you been?
Dad, we've got some good news. Wait until we tell you about it.
Well, haven't time to listen now, boys. The crowd has been waiting here a long time. So let's get on with the show, and then you can give me the big news that you have. They're here, ladies and gentlemen. Those magnificent little entertainers you've been waiting for. Here is Rastus.
I'm powerful obliged to you for waiting, ladies and gentlemen.
And here is Sambo.
I do. Good evening. How is everybody? Say, Doc, I see here in the paper where a terrible accident happened downtown today. It says here, terrible accident in streetcar. A woman had an eye on a seat, and a man came in and sat on it. Here's a chance for somebody to get a job. It says here in this paper, let's see, it says, wanted, boy to deliver eggs, 17 years old.
It's always funny the way people get things mixed up in writing, ain't it?
Yes, sure is.
I know a lady doctor what was writing out a prescription for 2 children what had the measles.
Had the measles?
Yeah. And at the same time, another woman wrote to the lady doctor and wanted to know how to make pickles. Well, the lady doctor wrote the prescriptions, but she got them in the wrong envelope. She sent the measles woman the pickles recipe. And the woman that wanted to know how to make pickles, well, she got the prescription for measles. Well, sir, when the measles woman opened her letter, here's what it said to do with her children. Scald them 3 or 4 days in hot vinegar. Salt them until they are cured. Put spices on them. Pack them in a bottle. And don't forget to caulk 'em up tight.
And Sambo's ready for the song, folks. And he says he's just got to sing a torch song. All right, Sambo.
I've got to sing a torch song, for that's the way I feel. When I feel a thing, then I can sing. It must be real. I couldn't sing a gay song. It wouldn't be sincere. I could never croon a happy tune without a tear. I have my dreams, but one by one they vanish in the sky. I try to smile and face the sun, but romance passes by. I've got to sing a torch song to someone far apart, for the torch I bear is burning there, right in my heart.
Say, Sambo, you know when we first come to this town and went over to that little boy's house and named them 2 little chickens?
Yeah. You named one of them Clark Gable and one of them Greta Garbo.
Yeah. Well, I made a big mistake when I named them. Because last week, Clark Gable hatched out 12 little chickens. And Greta Garble's got spurs on her legs 2 inches long.
Well, that was quite a mistake. And now Rastus invites all the little boys and girls to get aboard the good ship Lollipop.
On the good ship Lollipop, it's a sweet trip to a candy shop where bonbons play on the sunny beach of Peppermint Bay. Lemonade stands everywhere, Cracker Jack bands fill the air, and there you are, happy landing on a chocolate bar. See the sugar bowls do a Tootsie Roll with the big bad devil food cake. If you eat too much, you'll awake with a tummy ache on the good ship Lollipop. It's a night trip, into bed you hop with this command: all aboard! All aboard for Candyland.
Oh, Dad! Charcoal, you're back! Dad, here's Charcoal. He's back. He didn't go away.
You see, Sheriff, it's just as I said. I knew Charcoal wouldn't go away.
Charcoal's been with us, Dad.
Well, I didn't think he'd run away for good. I just said it looked suspicious. Him disappearing right after Jim's body was found.
Sheriff, you don't think Charcoal had anything to do with killing Jim, do you?
Well, he could have done it. He was in the woods at the time Jim was killed, and nobody knows he might have been right at the very spot. And Charcoal knew it. Jim took the house car away from Doc, that he would be out of a job. And besides that, Jim kicked Charcoal around right smart out at the nightclub one night. I seen him do that. Oh, yeah, Charcoal had reasons, all right, for wanting to get Jim out of the way.
That's true. Charcoal was in the woods at the time Jim was killed. But so were you, Sheriff.
Well, you boys know where I was. I was down at the river washing the mud from my fishing hands.
You were not at the riverbank when we called you for supper because you didn't answer.
And we have positive proof that you were near the spot where Jim's body was found.
Can't so. You're all against me. What proof have you got?
The $500 reward check. The check you lost. Here it is right here. We just found it.
You did? You found it? Where?
Not more than 2 feet from the spot where Jim was killed.
Now, Sheriff, you're so anxious to accuse Mother, Dad, Betty, Charcoal, and all the rest of us
And now we can accuse you. This is our ace in the hole.
Well, what do you know about that? It looks as if our little heroes have some real evidence against the sheriff. Our next episode should be very interesting and exciting.
There are places west of the Missouri where gambling stakes are rather high. This is particularly true when the wager depends on a man's life.
Frontier Gentleman. Herewith an Englishman's account of life and death in the West. As a reporter for the London Times, he writes his colorful and unusual stories. But as a man with a gun, he lives and becomes a part of the violent years in the new territories. Now, starring John Dehner, this is the story of J.B. Kendall, Frontier Gentleman.
I had stayed in Montana Territory hoping for an interview with Sitting Bull or even Crazy Horse. But General Crook's attack across the Tongue River put an end to that hope, at least for the time being. And so, with a full-fledged Indian war exploding around me, I had no choice but to remain where I was. The settlement, with a normal population of perhaps 100, had swollen to 4 times that number. The saloon keeper, gambler, and others were doing a thriving business, and the most popular spot in town was undoubtedly a place bearing the rather, sanguinary legend, Jug of Blood. It was what is known as a honky-tonk. I was passing outside when the trouble began. The doors flew open and half a dozen brawling men erupted in the street. In sheer self-defense, I became a combatant.
You son of a gun!
My dear fellow, I haven't the slightest idea.
Yeah, he's a good fighter!
Jolly good.
He's just some no good son of a gun was cheating at poker. And no good son of a gun.
Really?
Yeah.
One of those?
How should I know? I wasn't playing. I just heard it all.
Yeah.
You know, if there's anything I hate, it's no good cheating son of a gun.
Yes. Bad form. I don't blame you.
Hey, what's your hurry?
Now, if you'll pardon me.
Hey, come on in and have a drink.
No, I don't think so. Thank you.
Oh, come on. There's mighty pretty little gals in there. You know, Jake Hyler hired them all the way out from back east. They was on their way up to Virginia City. Sue Ruckus has held them old.
I'm sorry to hear it, but now, really, I must be going.
Oh, mister, you ain't seen such dancing, such carrying on. I'll be a son of a gun if I let you move on without seeing the nicest bit of female woman flesh this side of St. Louis. Son of a gun, come on, let's go. You won't be sorry. There's a table over there.
Right.
Come on, get it. Well, it's kind of early. Still a little quiet. She'll warm up by and by. Hey, her name is Smith, Walleye Smith.
J.B. Kendall, Mrs.
Howdy.
Smith.
Hey, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'll take a beer if you don't mind.
Oh, don't make no never mind to me. Jake? Yeah? A beer from a pound of whiskey for me. Tell Andy to bring him over. Okay. J.B. Kendall, huh?
J.B.
Hey, you any kin to Arizona Kendalls down at Tombstone?
No.
What's your business, mister? I'm inside from fighting.
I'm a newspaper correspondent.
Oh. Well, I'm a cowpuncher myself. Got paid off last week. This here's a good place to spend your money. Hey, how you like that there picture over the bar? Ain't she something?
Well, there's quite a bit of her, isn't there?
What'd you say?
I say there's quite a bit of her, isn't there?
Yeah.
A little out of proportion here and there. Ample.
Well, son of a gun, I like you, Kendall. I like you. Son of a gun. Hey, what paper you write for?
London Times.
Well, son of a gun. Hey, Annie.
Hiya, Mr. Smith.
Hey, sweetheart. This here's J.B. Kendall.
Hi.
How
He
do you
writes
do?
for a newspaper, London Times. He's an important man. Now you go call Crystal. Drinks are on me.
Sure, Mr. Smith. Hey, Crystal.
Yeah, me, I go for the nice fat ones. Something you can grab a hold on. Never did like dancing with them skin and bone gals.
I gather Annie is your choice, huh?
Yeah. She's some looker, huh?
Oh, no doubt of it, Mr. Smith.
Of course, now, there ain't nothing wrong with Crystal. She's the one close herding with that son of a gun, Bill Bascom. See?
I paid $5.
I don't think he's taking kindly to your friend Annie's suggestion.
He's a raunchy buzzard, ain't he? He's drunker than an owl.
I say, look here, old boy, we don't want to cause any more trouble. You and your young lady have a nice evening. I'll be running along.
Oh, sit down. Huh? I owe you for that fight. I always pay my debts. Well, here they come. Ladies, meet J.B. Kendall. This here's Crystal, J.B.
Crystal, how do you do?
Go on, sit in his life, sweetheart. The poor fella ain't feeling his oats yet.
Well, no, I'm sure Miss Crystal will be much more comfortable in a chair.
Come here, Annie.
Would you, care for a drink?
No, thanks.
Oh.
Sure do like you, gal.
The gentleman you were dancing with, he seems rather upset. Oh. Are you sure I can't get you something?
What's the matter? You don't like me? Ain't I good enough to sit in your lap?
Oh, well, not at all. I'd be delighted, but
Yeah. I'm Wild Bill Bascom, and there ain't no man nor dog what takes my gal away from me.
You riding herd on Crystal, Bill?
I ain't riding herd on no one. But I paid good hard cash, and I'm gonna have my dance out.
You go rattle Hawks out of here.
And I say goose hockey to you, Walleye.
Son of a gun.
Gentlemen, I think the language is getting a trifle ripe. After all, there are ladies present.
Well, who are you son of a gun?
The name is Kendall.
Well, goose hockey to you,
You
Kendall.
had your ride, mister. I ain't dancing no more with you. He'd like to stomp
I
my
paid you
feet off, Mr.
$5.
Kendall.
I rather think it's up to the lady. Don't you, chum?
Lady? She ain't no lady.
Bill.
Son of a gun.
Bill,
You
I'm
got-
giving you 1 second to rattle Hawks out, and then I'm going to blow your ears off.
No.
Oh,
no need of
you
that,
are-
Mr. Smith. You'll go along quietly, won't you, Mr. Bascom?
Oh, you think you're a pretty big son of a gun, don't you? Well, you don't stampede me, mister. Now, come on, girl.
Not at all polite.
You're breaking my arm.
Then be a good chap, and as Mr. Smith puts it, go rattle your Hawks.
Ain't no son of a gun telling me what to do. I'm Wild Bill Bascom, and
He's pulling his gun!
Son of a gun. You killed me.
What's he mean you killed him? He shot himself. You didn't even draw on him.
I don't allow
no gun shooting in here.
Jake, it's Bill Bascom. He aimed to salivate Mr. Kendall here, and he killed himself instead.
Oh, this silly son of a gun. Now, you boys, you get him up out of there. That rug cost me $300.
Will somebody get a doctor? He's not dead.
I bet he is. How much you bet, mister?
He ain't dead. I seen him move. Look.
Why don't you shut your mouth?
Well, get him off my rug. Take him in back. You can put him on the faro table.
Give me a hand.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody find a doctor, please.
Ain't no doctor except an army surgeon. He's getting himself scalped by the Sioux. Yeah.
Well, that's true. Ain't no doctor around here.
I never knew he was this heavy.
Carefully.
All right, break up the game, boys. There's a goner here. Needs a table.
Come on, fellas.
I tell you. All right, boys. Put him down.
I'm dying, boy. Give me a drink.
I'll get it.
Put him down, I said. Put him down.
All right, he's there.
From my old market. See me now.
Annie, see if you can find some bandages, clean rags, hot water.
Sure. And don't you fret, Bill.
Aye.
You're going to be just fine.
Well, I gotta get back to the bar. Anything you boys need, you let me know. Whiskey's on the house, Bascom.
You're a good man, Jay. I'll put in a word for you when I get where I'm going.
Yeah, well, you do that. So long.
All right, now, let's get that jacket off, Bascom.
Mister, you're treating me like I don't deserve.
Don't talk now. Smith, get the other arm.
Sure.
Hey, no, now wait a minute. Now look, I ain't kidding you. These are my dying words. I tried to kill you. In my drink, I tried to, and it's heavy on my conscience. Well, I sure wish I had me a preacher to make my peace with.
Bill, will you shut your son of a gun mouth and let us get this here jacket off of you?
I ain't...
Carefully now. There we are. Now I have to tear the shirt.
No, boy. This here's my bare shirt. I want to be buried in it.
Here's your whiskey, Bill. Let me prop his head up.
Crystal, you angel of mercy. That's what you are, Crystal. You. Crystal girl, I'm asking your forgiveness, sweetheart. I acted purely like a broomtail with you.
Forget it, Bill. You finish your drink.
Does look mean, don't it, Mr. Kemp?
Smith, come over here.
Sit up right there.
Just hold it still.
I reckon he ain't got long. You know, if he don't bleed to death, it's gangrene for sure.
Now we can stop the bleeding, I think, but we've got to get that bullet out.
Oh, ain't nobody around here crazy enough to try that. Ain't no sense carving up the poor son of a gun. Let him die comfortable like
He doesn't have to
is.
die. There might be a chance. Will you help?
Help what?
Operate on him.
You're loco.
There's nothing to lose.
How about another drink, boy? I'm going fast.
You all right, Mr. Kendall?
Give him all he wants, Crystal. Keep pouring it into him.
You think it fitting for a man to die drunk?
I think it fitting for a man not to feel any more pain than he has to.
What you doing with that knife?
I told you I'm going to take that bullet out of him. If you want to help me, good. If not, you'll oblige me by rattling your hocks out of here.
In a moment, we return to Frontier Gentlemen. Poor Jack Benny. The gang arranges a surprise party for him on his birthday. But the surprise backfires in a hilarious way today on CBS Radio's Jack Benny program. Never mind the greeting cards. Forget about buying him a present. Just be sure to join us on most of these same stations later on today when everybody has a good time at Jack Benny's birthday party, except Jack himself. And now we return you to Anthony Ellis' production of Frontier Gentlemen.
There are some men who possess a rather odd sentimentality about pain and death. They don't hesitate to empty a gun into a living body. With clear and shining conscience, they do this deed. But for those same men to retrieve a life, to cut into flesh to do so, that is a different matter. Walleye Smith was of this type. The thought of operating on Bill Bascom offended his sense of delicacy.
Oh, you ain't no doc. You can't do that.
I can bloody well try.
I couldn't find no
all bandaged so I tore a sheet up. And here's your water.
Good girl. Put it down on the table. Now, which one of you ladies will help?
I will.
Oh, sure, me too.
All right, we'll try to stop the bleeding first. How do you feel, Bill?
I'm dying, partner. How about another drink?
Annie,
Sure.
Crystal, take some sheeting. Press it over the wound. Keep holding it there.
Now, come on.
Son of a gun, Kendall. I say you can't do it.
My dear fellow, will you step over here for a moment? Now, Smith, look here. The fact that Bascom might die is partially my fault.
How come? He shot himself.
Circumstances, kismet.
Well, you ain't no doc.
So you said.
You'll kill him.
If we're lucky, I won't.
If a man's luck runs out, that's the end. It don't pay to go again nature.
At a less pressing moment, I should be delighted to enter into a philosophical discussion with you, Smith, but not just now. Now, be a good chap and don't argue.
But I ain't arguing, you son of a gun. I'm telling you, you ain't going to cut Bill up.
Smith, I took you for something more than a thick-headed clodhopper. I see I was mistaken.
Oh, mister, you go on talking like that, there's going to be another dying man in here.
Oh, dear. Awfully sorry.
Son of a gun.
What's the matter with you boys? You stop, you hear?
Now, Smith, clear out and stay out.
Oh, son of a gun.
Now, how's our patient?
Finished half the bottle.
There's enough rot got in him to melt that bullet.
Wishful thinking, my dear. Bill, I'm going to take the bullet out. He'll do. All right, Crystal. Take a handful of rags. And when I tell you, wipe the blood away.
What do you want me to do?
Hold his hand. Try to keep him still.
Oh.
Ready?
Yes.
Here we go. I didn't know how deeply the bullet had penetrated. I could only guess at its approximate direction. I made an incision. Wipe. Wipe.
There you see, son of a gun, carving him up like a piece of buffalo meat.
Hey, you can't do that, mister.
I'm doing it. Get out.
100 said Bascom makes it.
Who said that?
Me.
You're on.
Wipe.
He ain't breathing so good.
I know. Will you get out?
No, not me. I got money on Bill. Anybody else want to make a little bet?
Yeah, 50's still alive in 2 hours.
Odds on that, 2 get you 1.
A bet.
Wipe.
Oh, why don't you go on out? We're trying to save him.
You go right on trying, Annie. Anybody else?
Well, like maybe...
Kendall, what do you think? Has he got a chance?
How the devil should I know?
Sure is a mess, ain't he? Yeah, poor old Bill, he was a good man.
Yeah, sure could top a horse.
Jake, 200, he's still alive come 4 o'clock.
It's midnight now. I'll take it.
All right, now, Kendall, you son of a gun, you pull him through.
You want a chance to win.
Well, sure I do.
Get these people out.
All right, come on, Jake. Everybody, come on.
No, I'm staying. I got a big investment in that boy.
Very well. I'm finished. You stay here. I won't go on. Let him die.
You see?
Let him die.
All right. We'll wait outside. Now, Walleye, you stay. You give us a word every 5 minutes.
Well, sure.
Hold him down. Hold him.
I got you, Billy boy. Rest easy. Easy.
Now, please. Now, I can't find it. Can't find it. Give me a rag, Crystal.
Here.
Thank you.
Look at the color of him. He's gone.
Annie, give him whiskey, quickly.
Sure.
Yes, that's better. I can feel it. I can feel it. Yes, it's there. Yes, a white crystal. There.
Now, ain't that something? I never did see a piece of lead dug out before. Son of a gun. Hey, everybody, he got it out! And the son of a gun is still alive!
We bound up the wound, made him as comfortable as we could. He'd lost a great deal of blood and was terribly weak. There was nothing to do now but wait. The two girls stayed in the room with me, and there was something very different about them. Both were far from being beautiful, but there was a softness, a quality of loveliness which made their garish costumes seem completely out of place.
Howdy. How's she coming?
About the same.
You know, there's better than 10,000 been bet outside. 3:30 now. You think he'll live till 4?
He might.
I got 200 says he got to.
Well, and obviously he's got to.
Kind of funny if he does pull through, though, huh?
It'll be a miracle.
He ain't a bad son of a gun. Sure looks white. Quiet. Almost like a kid, don't he? Anything I can do, Kendall?
Say a prayer if you feel like it.
I ain't a praying man, but I hope he makes it. Not on account of my 200. I just hope he makes it.
For you, that's a prayer, Smith.
You ought to have a drink.
No, thank you.
Well, I'll go out and keep them all quiet.
Yes, that's a good idea.
Mister,
Yes, Crystal.
I know a prayer. You think it'd help?
I don't know, it might.
The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death,
I will fear no evil.
for thou art with me. Thy rod and thy staff.
Bascom. Bascom.
Bill? How do you feel? Bill?
Can you hear me, Bascom?
I'm dying, boy. Give me a drink.
Wild Bill Bascom didn't die. A number of people won money because of it, and a number of others lost. Mr. Smith insisted on dividing his winnings with me. During his presentation speech, he was so overcome that not once did he refer to me as a son of a gun, an omission I was happy to overlook.
Frontier Gentleman was written, produced, and directed by Anthony Ellis and stars John Daner as J.B. Kendall. Featured in the cast were Jack Crucian, Stacey Harris, Virginia Gregg, Eve McVeigh, Barney Phillips, and Charles Seal. Music was composed and conducted by Jerry Goldsmith. Pearl Bailey, Nat King Cole, and Eartha Kitt may not tell all to Mitch Miller tonight, but knowing Mitch as we do, we're sure his talented visitors will feel free to talk about anything and everything of interest. For an informal get-together with some of the brightest names in show business, hear The Mitch Miller Show every Sunday night on most of these same stations. Now stay tuned for the Ford Road Show, which follows immediately over most of these same stations. Join us again next week for another report from the Frontier Gentleman. John Wall speaking. This is the CBS Radio Network.
Here's another in NBC's great parade of new shows.
Ladies and gentlemen, the story you are about to hear is true. Only the names have been changed to protect the innocent.
NBC brings you Dragnet. You're a detective sergeant. You're assigned to narcotics detail. For more than 2 months, doctors' offices have been burglarized, hospital pharmacies pillaged, drugstores robbed, medical supply firms ransacked, with one purpose in mind: the theft of narcotics. The criminals are expert, cunning, vicious. Your job, get them.
Dragnet, the documented drama of an actual crime, investigated and solved by the men who unrelentingly stand watch on the security of your home, your family, and your life. For the next 30 minutes, transcribed in cooperation with the Los Angeles Police Department, you will travel step by step on the side of the law through an actual case from official police files. From beginning to end, from crime to punishment, Dragnet is the story of your police force in action.
It was Thursday, March 23rd. It was windy in Los Angeles. We were working the night watch out of narcotics. My partner's Ben Romero. The boss is Ed Backstrand, chief of detectives. My name's Friday. I was on my way back from the record bureau, and it was 10:35 p.m. when I got to room 24. Narcotics detail.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll be right over. Thank you. Get anything, Joe?
Nothing we don't know already. How about you?
That was the county hospital on the phone. Doc Welch. Pretty fair lead. I told him we'd be right over.
What's he got?
One of our informants, Benny Trounsel. Ready?
Let's go. What's with Benny?
It's bad shape. Somebody worked him over. They found him in an alley off of South Main.
Yeah?
Doc says Trounsel talked before he passed out.
Anything good?
He claimed he knows who's running the new dope racket in town. Says they got him.
No, let's take the stairs here, huh? Why should they bother with small fry like Benny?
That's what I'm wondering. Blackmail, maybe.
Benny's still on the needle? Maybe that accounts for his story.
Doc says his skull is fractured. Morphine doesn't do that to you.
Yeah. Benny mention any names?
I don't know. Doc didn't say.
Here's the garage. Come on. When did they pick up Benny?
About an hour ago. He had a pocket full of bundles on him. Heroin.
Trounsel's small fry. He never had that much dope on him in his life.
That's what makes it interesting. Let's go.
County Hospital? Yes, sir. The line is busy. Will you wait? Thank you. Can I help you, gentlemen?
We'd like to see Dr. Welch. She's expecting us.
Your names, please?
This is Sergeant Romero. My name's Friday, police officer.
Oh, yes. Around the corner to your left, room 127. The doctor's waiting for you.
Thank you. Come on, Ben.
I hope Benny's still talking. We could sure use a lead.
Yeah. Here it is. 127.
Hiya, Ben. Joe?
How are you, Doc? Anything new?
Just left Trounsel upstairs.
You think we can talk to him now?
Won't do much good. He died about 6 minutes ago.
For almost 2 years, Benny Trounsel, an addict himself, had been one of the most valuable informants Ben and I had in the narcotic gangs. More than once, he had helped us solve a case, but this time, if Benny Trounsel had any direct leads to the nerve center of the newest narcotic ring, he took them with him. Besides his dying accusation that the ring had gotten to him, he left behind only 2 small scraps of information. First, when he arrived at the county hospital, Dr. Welch reported that Trounsel repeatedly muttered the name Patterson. Secondly, among the few personal effects found in his pockets was a good amount of heroin and a small piece of white paper with 2 words scrawled on it, Tucker Building. Benny Trounsel's body was taken to the county morgue, and the next morning it was posted. At the coroner's inquest, the cause of death was listed as a brain hemorrhage induced by severe blows by a blunt instrument on the sides and base of the skull, inflicted by a person or persons unknown. Besides Ben and myself, the only identification witness at the inquest was a woman who managed a rooming house in Benedict Alley, where Trounsel used to stay periodically. After the inquest, we questioned her briefly in our office.
Miss Strite, you say you can't remember any friends Trounsel had while he stayed at your rooming house?
No, I can't. Besides, if I knew that man used dope, I never would have rented him a room.
How long did he rent from you, Miss Strite?
Oh, about 6 months. I run a respectable house. I don't mind if my people drink a little now and then, but those dope users, no, sir.
Did you know anything about Trounsel, Miss Strite? Where he spent his time, where he had his meals?
Well, don't serve at my place. Too much trouble. Most of the people eat at the Ace lunchroom, down the corner.
Where's that, Miss Strite?
Grant and South Main, right on the corner.
And you think Trounsel might have spent some time there?
He might have, I don't know.
Miss Strite, did Trounsel ever mention anyone by the name of Patterson?
No. Patterson? No.
And you can't recall any friends he might have had?
He had any friends and never set foot in my house. That's all I know.
All right, Miss Strite, thank you.
Here's a card, ma'am. If you come across any information about Trounsel, we'd appreciate it if you'd call us.
All right. That all?
That's all, ma'am. Thank you.
Well, bye.
Goodbye, ma'am.
Big help.
Yeah, not even a good identification witness.
You got those listings we made on the Tucker building?
Yeah. Yeah, let's see. Here it is.
Okay, let me have it, huh? Tucker building, 7310 South Wilshire. I wonder what Benny Trounsel could have been doing out there.
Shouldn't be too hard to check. It's a small building.
Yeah. 6 listings for the whole place. A couple of law offices, real estate guy, dentists, architect, and a doctor.
One dentist, one doctor. Could be a lead.
Maybe. Pretty thin.
Friday. Romero, you got a minute?
Yeah, Skipper. Come on, Joe.
Yeah. What do you got, Ed?
Letters. Here's a sample. Now listen to this. Chief of Detectives, Ed Backstrand, City Hall, Los Angeles. In view of mounting wave of narcotic robberies, strongly recommend that your efforts to curb this lawlessness be redoubled.
They all like that?
All of them. They're mad. Can you blame them?
Not a bit.
We haven't got much to go on, Chief. The gang's pretty smart.
All right, then let's be smarter. There's no law against it.
Doing our best, Skipper.
Then make it better. I'm sick of that bunch, and I'm tired of these letters. And look at that record. In 2 months, 15 drugstore robs, 8 medical offices, 2 supply houses, 2 hospital pharmacies. Narcotics missing every time. Now, who's behind it?
None of the old-timers. We've checked them out. Gone over every hype and mainliner we know of.
All right, then get on the transients. New faces. Climb on every one of them that shoots the stuff until you get to that gang and break it. If you need help, holler. But get to that gang and break it. You understand?
Okay, Skipper, we'll try.
You dig up anything on that Trounsel case yet?
Still checking out one lead.
What?
Slip of paper we found in Trounsel's pocket, Ed. Said Tucker building on it, that's all. Just going to check it out when you called.
All right, hop on it, fast. We got a lot of pressure on us. Keep in touch with the office.
It was almost noon when Ben and I got out to the Tucker building. It was a 2-story affair, comparatively small, very modern. We checked with the dentist in the building first, but he'd never heard of anyone by the name of Benny Trounsel. His records and appointment books proved it out.
Well, that's one down, Joe.
Yeah. Let's try that doctor's office now. What's his name?
Let me see. Springer. Dr. Fred Springer. He's on the 2nd floor.
Okay. There's a stairway down there. Come on.
Pretty close to lunchtime. Might not be in.
Maybe. Somebody should be there. We haven't got much time to play with.
Yeah. Chief sure was up in there this morning.
Here's the office. Fred Springer, M.D.
Good morning. May I help you, gentlemen?
We'd like to see Dr. Springer, please.
Do you have an appointment?
No, we don't.
Well, the doctor's not in at present. Would you like to make an appointment for later in the day?
No, ma'am. We're police officers. This is Sergeant Friday. I'm Sergeant Romero.
How do you do? I'm Miss Turner. I'm the doctor's nurse.
Then you must take care of the appointment and record books for the doctor.
Yes, I do.
Well, maybe you can give us the information we're looking for, Miss Turner. Did the doctor ever have a patient by the name of Trounsel? Benny Trounsel?
Trounsel?
Mm-hmm.
No, I don't think so. Just a moment. I'll check.
Thank you.
No. Trounsel, is that the way you spell it?
Yes, ma'am.
No. The name's not listed here. Let me check the account book. No. Wait. It's funny.
What's that, Miss Turner?
Here in the back of the book in the doctor's handwriting. Look.
Trounsel, the Black Parrot.
Certainly funny. I can't remember seeing that notation before. It must be fairly recent.
Miss Turner, what kind of a clientele would you say Dr. Springer has?
Oh, it's quite exclusive. Beverly Hills, Bel Air. That's where most of the bills are mailed.
Can you recall seeing Trounsel in the office here, Miss Turner? Small man, thin, walked with a kind of a limp, not very well dressed.
No, I don't think so. Doesn't sound like any of our patients.
Would you show us the doctor's prescription lists for the last 2 months? We'd like to check them.
Well, I'm afraid I can't. Dr. Springer keeps them in the safe. He's the only one who has the combination.
How long you been with Dr. Springer?
About 10 months. Ever since he started his practice out here.
Where was he before that?
Philadelphia. I don't understand all these questions. Is anything the matter?
Just a routine check, Miss Turner. When do you expect the doctor back?
About 4 this afternoon. He's out making home calls.
All right. Here's our card. Would you ask him to call us as soon as he comes in?
I'll do that.
Thank you, Miss Turner. Bye.
Goodbye.
Bye. Oh, say, Miss Turner, there's one more question.
Yes?
Does Dr. Springer have a patient by the name of Patterson?
Oh, yes. One of the doctor's first patients, John Patterson. He lives out on East Beverly Drive.
When we left Dr. Springer's office, we called R&I. There was no make on John Patterson. Ben and I drove over to see him just on a hunch. It didn't pay off right then, but it showed a little promise. When the maid came to the door of the Swank apartment, she told us Patterson was out for the day. We asked her about Patterson's occupation. She didn't know. We asked her about his friends, his business acquaintances. She could remember only 2 people visiting the apartment. One of them was Dr. Springer, apparently a constant visitor. The other, a tall, dark man who spoke bad English. We asked the maid how long she had worked for Patterson. She said ever since he moved to Los Angeles, about 6 months before. A few things started to fall into place, but it was strictly a guesswork operation. Ben and I got in the car and headed for the south end of the city to check out some of the places Benny Trounsel was supposed to have frequented. We met a stone wall. From the Ace lunchroom near Benny's former rooming house to the Black Parrot. No one was willing to talk. Threats didn't work, and neither did promises. Ben and I gave up for the moment and headed back to the office.
Pacific Ambulance 1, call to Alhambra is now code 3.
Seems like Skid Row doesn't want any part of this one.
Yeah, there's a bad feeling. Something's got him scared.
Sure would like to know what it is, or who it is.
Yeah, I'd like to know the
Control 1
answer
to
to
Unit
that, too.
80K. Control 1 to Unit 80K.
Us, Joe. Get it, will you?
I got it. 80K to Control 1. 80K to Control 1. Go ahead.
80K. Call station 2511, code 3.
80K to Control 1. Roger. KMA 367.
Wonder what that's all about.
Well, let's find out. There's a drugstore. They ought to have a phone. Pull over, huh? You got a nickel?
Yeah, sure.
Thanks. I'll be back in a minute.
City Hall.
2511.
Thank you.
Chief of Detective's Office, Hannon.
This is Friday, Mike. The chief there?
Oh, yeah, just a minute. Backstrand talking.
This is Friday, Ed. What do you got?
You tied up?
Nothing big.
Then check in as soon as you can. Got something good.
What?
You remember the stick-up at St. Agnes Hospital about a month ago? Pharmacy there?
What about it?
2 patrolmen picked up a user down near Union Station about an hour and a half ago.
Yeah?
Guy was way back on his heels. He had 2 vials of morphine on him. Vials had serial numbers.
Good. Did they match out?
Perfectly.
Thanks, Ed. We'll be right in. When Ben and I got back to the office at 3:52 p.m., we picked up Chief Ed Backstrand and went directly to the crime lab, where Lieutenant Lee Jones analyzed the contents of the 2 vials taken from the suspect. Jones told us it was high-grade morphine. We went back to the office and double-checked the serial numbers on the vials with the crime report on the St. Agnes Hospital robbery. They matched.
And there's a good break. These vials were in the loot when the gang knocked over the hospital 28 days ago. Now stay on the trail and we'll crack that gang wide open.
This the arrest report on the guy, Ed?
Yeah. Picked him up in a bar off South Main.
Who is the guy? A transient?
Yeah, here it is, Ben. James Steiner, Phoenix, Arizona, age 37, transient laborer. Anybody talk this guy yet, Ed?
Not yet. He shouldn't be too hard. You better get on it.
Right, Skipper. Come on, Joe.
Check you later, Ed. What time you got, Ben?
Let me see here. 25 past 4.
A phone call for you, Ben?
Yeah, who was it?
Your wife. Wants you to pick up some aspirin and a bottle of nose drops for your kid on your way home.
Oh, yeah, almost forgot.
That the only call we had, Mike?
That's right.
Thanks.
Well,
you got that Dr. Springer's number, Ben?
Yeah, here it is. Crestview 55284.
Thanks.
Nurse said he'd call us around 4, didn't she?
Yeah.
Dr. Springer's office?
This is Sergeant Friday down at the police department. Dr. Springer there?
Well, no, he isn't, Sergeant. He called in about 20 minutes ago, and I gave him your message. He said he'd call you.
All right, Miss Turner. When he comes in, tell him to call us. Impress on him it's urgent.
All right, Sergeant, I'll do that. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
No luck?
I don't know. Just a hunch. He may be ducking us.
Who you calling now?
State Medical Board. Maybe they can check us out on Dr. Springer. I put the call through to the State Medical Board and asked for a check on Dr. Fred Springer. They said they'd call back within the hour. In the meantime, we had James Steiner brought to one of the interrogation rooms for questioning. It was all talk.
Oh, look, it's like I told the sergeant when they booked me. I don't know anything about this hospital job.
Sit down, Steiner.
Oh, all right, thanks.
How long you been in the city, Steiner?
L.A.? Oh, about a month. I came from Phoenix, looking for work. Things are pretty slow in Phoenix.
Where'd you get the morphine?
Huh?
I said, where'd you get the morphine?
The stuff? I bought it. Just for a pop now and then. I just play around with it. Just for kicks.
Who'd you buy the vials from?
Who? I don't know. A guy in a bar gave me a price.
Which bar was that?
Which bar? The Black Parrot. I'm not hooked. I just play around with it just for kicks.
What did the guy look like, Steiner?
What did he look like? I don't know. Tall, I guess.
Would you remember him if you saw him again?
Remember? Sure. I talked to him a couple of nights at the bar.
Was he on the stuff? Was he a hype?
Hype? Yeah, maybe. Tall fella, dark.
You shooting the stuff?
Shooting the stuff? No, I'm no mainliner. I never took in the veins in my life. I told you I'd do it just for kicks, just to pop now and then.
Take off your shirt. Let's see your arms.
Huh? My arms?
Come on, take it off.
But,
Who are you kidding, Steiner? Your arm looks like a pincushion.
I told you just once in a while, just for the kicks. I'm not hooked on it.
They found 2 vials of stolen morphine on you, Steiner. You can go 2 ways, hard or easy.
Hard or easy? I told you I ain't done nothing. I bought the stuff. I use a cap or a bindle once in a while for kicks, but I'm not hooked. I bought the stuff, I tell you.
Who was he, Steiner? Who sold it to you?
Who? Oh, I told you. I met him in a bar, the Black Parrot.
Who was he?
He was tall. Dark. He gave me a good price.
Come on, let's have it, Steiner. His name.
I'm feeling sick. You got something for me? I'm sick.
All right. Mike.
Yeah, Joe.
Get some milk. A couple of quarts right away.
Okay, Joe.
You ready to tell us, Steiner? Who was he?
I'm sick. I'm sick.
We're getting some milk for you now. Come on, you better talk.
Max. That's all he said. Name was Max. He gave me a good price. I only take a pop now and then just for kicks.
You think you could point him out for us?
Yeah, maybe. I'm sick. I'm sick.
Narcotics from Merrill.
Hello. This is Dr. Springer calling. You wanted to talk to me.
Yes, we did, Doctor. And we've got a few questions we'd like to ask you. Oh, hold on just a minute, will you? It's Dr. Springer, Joe.
All right, tell him we got to see him tonight. We'll call him back later.
Dr. Springer?
Yes?
Sorry, Doctor. We'll have to see you later on tonight. You be at home?
Well, I have an appointment this evening. Would you mind telling me what this is all about?
Sure, Doctor. It's about a man named Benny Trounsel.
Oh. I see.
And if you don't mind, we'd like to check over your prescription list with you.
Yes. I'll cancel my appointment. You can contact me here at home. 1538 South Road. I'll be here all night.
All right, Doctor. Thank you. We'll see you later, then.
Yes. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
What'd he say? All right?
Yeah, it's all right. I'll buy that hunch of yours now, Joe. Dr. Springer, he knows who killed Benny Trounsel. I bet he knows why.
When Mike Hannon came back with the milk, we fed it to Steiner, and then we put him back in his cell. We put in another call to John Patterson out on East Beverly Drive, but there was no answer. We left word with Hannon where we were going, and then Ben and I headed out for Dr. Springer's home. It was 7:35 when we pulled up into the driveway at 1538 South Road, a low, rambling, ranch-type home. We got out of the car and made our way down the path to the front door. A gray Persian cat followed us. The door was half open. We knocked, but there was no answer. Through the window, we could see the living room was dimly lighted. We went in. We found Dr. Springer sitting in a large carved mahogany chair in the dining room. The room was hung with draperies. He was slumped forward, face down on the dining table. There was a bullet hole in his right temple. On the floor near his right hand was a .32 automatic pistol. In the center of the dining table was a piece of white paper.
Looks like he beat us.
Yeah. Any names on that confession?
One says he killed Trounsel. No, wait a minute. It says, John Patterson. He forced me to this.
What?
I don't know. What's it look like to you? Here's another one. Norberg. That's all it says. Then he signed his name, Dr. Fred Springer.
Ben, come over here. Look at these.
Hypodermic needle. It works. Is this morphine?
White powder. Could be.
And he was on it himself.
Looks like it. We'll find out when they post him. I'll get it. Yeah.
Sergeant Friday there, please.
This is Joe, Mike. What do you got?
Can you talk all right there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Just got a kickback on your call to the State Medical Board on this Dr. Fred Springer.
Mm-hmm.
He's not a registered physician in the state of California. Besides that, his license was revoked in Pennsylvania 2 years ago. Illegal operations.
That explains it. Notify homicide. Get the crime lab in the corner out here, will you? Looks like Springer shot himself.
Okay, Joe, right away.
We'll wait for him, but hurry him up, Mike. We got a couple more places to check out tonight.
Okay, Joe. See you later.
Right.
What's next? Patterson place?
I don't know. Maybe we ought to try Steiner first.
Sounds good to me. Feels like we're getting close.
Yeah, Ben. Real close. 12 minutes later, homicide and the crime lab men checked in at the Springer house, and Ben and I checked out. We went back to the office and found Ed Backstrand waiting for us. We told him our story, and he sent 2 men out to keep an eye on the Patterson place. 2 other men went to work to try and track down the other name in Springer's confession note, Norberg. Ben and I went up to the county jail and picked up Steiner. The 3 of us started out to look for the man who sold Steiner the 2 vials of morphine stolen from the hospital pharmacy a month before. The man's name was Max. He was tall and dark. That was all we knew. The rest of it was up to Steiner. 2 other men from the detail, Davis and Emerson, came along with us to take care of Steiner if anything went wrong. Our first stop was the Black Parrot Tavern. Davis parked the car in an alley down the street. Steiner, Ben, and I got out and walked the rest of the way.
You understand what you're supposed to do, Steiner?
Me? Yeah. I go in first and sit at the bar. You 2 will follow me. I sit at the bar, and if I see Max, I give you the sign. That's okay, huh?
That's right. And you don't try to break for it.
Break for it? Me? I told you, I'm squaring with you guys.
All right, Steiner. Go ahead.
Let's hope it works, Joe.
Yeah. There he goes inside. Come on. Now, look, try to grab one of the booths along the wall if you can, huh?
Right. Here we are.
First booth, Ben. It's empty.
Yeah.
Fellas left to order at the bar. Waitress got a night off.
Make it a couple of beers, will you?
Couple of beers? Okay.
Joe. Joe, look at Steiner.
Yeah, he's signaling. Must mean the guy putting on his coat over there. No, hold it, Ben. Wait till he gets past us. All right, get Steiner back to the car. I'll tail the guy. You come after me. I didn't know how right Steiner was or how much we could trust him. All I knew was that the man I was following was tall and he was in a hurry. I followed him 3/4 of a block before he turned in at a motel. He went to a cottage at the rear of the lot, let himself in, and closed the door quickly behind him. A minute later, Ben and the others pulled up in the car.
Got him staked out, Joe. Steiner says that was Max.
Let's make sure. Come on.
Which one's he in?
The one down at the end here. Now be careful.
You too.
All right, here we are. Wait a minute right there. All right, look, there's no rear door. He's got to come out the front. Keep the door clear. You ready?
All set.
Cover me. Open up in there.
Who is it?
Police officers, open up.
Just a minute.
All right, Ben, give it back to him.
Don't shoot, we'll come out.
All right, throw your guns out first, then come out with your hands behind your head and make it fast. Watch it, Ben, he's making a break.
Where
All right, mister. That's far enough.
Get out of my way. Get out of
Get him, Ben. That's good, Ben. You all right?
He didn't mean it, Copper. He didn't mean it. He didn't know what he was doing.
Well, that must be a good excuse, lady. A lot of people use it. Come on, Ben. Let's take him in. It was 10 minutes past midnight when we got back to headquarters. Both the man and the woman were booked for violation of the State Narcotics Act, a felony. He gave his name as Max Jansen. In his luggage, we found 13 vials of morphine, large quantities of heroin, and a small amount of Panopin. He gave us the names and addresses of 6 active members of the narcotics gang. He identified Dr. Springer as second in command.
Just a few more questions, Jansen.
Yeah, all right.
Why did Springer kill Trounsel?
He had it coming. Trounsel knew the score, and he was blackmailing them, bleeding them white.
Why didn't the gang take care of him?
The boss said no rough stuff. Things were going too good. He warned Springer, but he wouldn't listen.
All right, Jensen, just one more question. Who's the boss?
Do I get off light? State's witness?
It might help. We can't promise you anything.
Who's the boss, Patterson?
Yeah.
138 East Beverly Drive?
That's right.
What about Norberg? How does he figure?
It's the same guy. Patterson, Norberg, both the same.
And what's his real name?
Norberg. Tony Norberg.
What's his front?
He's legit, or he used to be. Importing business.
Where?
Here. Got an office downtown. Do I get protection?
Where's Norberg now?
Home out in Laurel Canyon. Do I get protection?
I thought you said he lived out on East Beverly.
His apartment, his home's out in the canyon.
Where? What's the address?
Do I get protection?
You'll get protection.
Winden Way. 860 Winden Way.
All right, Friday. Romero, take some men with you.
All right, Davis, cover the back of the house. Levine, you cover the front. Come on, Ben.
Yes?
Mr. Norberg in?
Who's calling?
Police officers.
Oh, come in, won't you?
Thank you.
Now get your hands up. Face the wall.
You'll never make it, lady. The house is surrounded.
Tony, get the stuff. It's our only chance.
They'll cut you down, Norberg.
All right, Jeannie, give him the gun.
Don't be a fool. They're going to march out the door in front of us, right to the car.
I'm not going, Jeannie. Try it if you want. I'm not going.
All right, Tony, stay. Come on, coppers.
You'll never make it, lady.
I said move. Fast.
All right, Ben, hit the dirt.
She's going for the car.
See if you can get those tires. Come on.
Dan?
Yeah.
Norberg was smart. Must be the girlfriend.
Guess so.
Wonder why they start. Why do they get on the stuff, Joe?
For kicks, Ben. None of them ever get hooked. Just for kicks.
The story you have just heard is true. Only the names were changed to protect the innocent.
Tony Norberg, alias John Patterson, was tried and convicted for possession of narcotics, robbery, and conspiracy, and was sentenced to the maximum term prescribed by law, each count to run consecutively. He died 3 years and 11 days after his arrival at the state penitentiary. You have just heard the 9th in a new series of authentic cases transcribed from official files. Technical advice for Dragnet is furnished by the Los Angeles Police Department.
Tonight's program is dedicated to Chief Erskine Fish of the North Sacramento Police Department, who on the night of August 11th, 1935, gave his life so that yours might be more secure.
Dragnet came to you from Los Angeles. This is NBC, the national broadcasting company.
Emergency Hospital in the 100 block on Kenwood Way. In the middle of the block, a hit and run. Calling car 45, car 45. An ambulance follow-up to 127 Kenwood Way. That's all.
Step on it, Sam. I'll crack the siren, yeah.
Here's the car. Get back out of the way. Come on, what's going on here? The woman was struck by a car.
All right, stand back. Give us a little room. It's an old woman, Sam. Here, give me a hand.
Yeah, been hit by a car. The tire marks across her waist.
Well, there isn't much we can do for her until the ambulance doctor gets here. Just try to make her comfortable and...
What's the matter?
Feel her hand.
Why, it's cold.
Yes, and her body's beginning to stiffen. This isn't a hit-and-run case, Sam. Go to the box on the corner and call Captain Reynolds. Unless I'm badly mistaken, we have a very poorly disguised murder on our hands.
Sit down, Mac, and take it easy.
Thanks, Captain.
Sorry I couldn't get out to the scene of that accident when you called me. I sent Perkins, but he says you're not satisfied with the investigation.
That's right, sir.
What's on your mind, Mac?
Well, I know I'm not on the detective detail, Captain, but I've got some ideas on this case, and by all that's holy, they're right.
What doesn't ring true?
Everything. In the first place, when we reached the scene, the woman had just been found, and her hands were cold. In fact, the body was beginning to show rigor mortis.
Well, perhaps she'd been struck down earlier in the evening.
That doesn't fit either, Captain. Kenwood Way is a well-lighted street. There's plenty of travel both ways. At that time of night, there isn't a chance of a body remaining undiscovered for more than 10 minutes at the most. That woman had been dead 3 hours or more.
I see what you mean.
Then there's something else. Sam and I have answered a lot of hit-and-run calls. In every case where a person has been run over by a heavy car, the body never moves after it's hit. We found this woman lying face down in the gutter, yet the tire marks were across the front of her body.
You think she'd been killed elsewhere and her body carted to Kenwood Way?
You hit it, Captain.
Pretty slim evidence, Mac.
All right, here's some more. This little old lady, whoever she was found in a house dress without pocketbook, gloves, or hat. Now, during these cool evenings, women don't go out without hat or coat and gloves. And if that isn't enough, there wasn't any dirt or grease on the back of her dress. And Kenwood Way is a particularly dirty street.
All right, McGrady. I'll push an investigation into this thing. And if you're interested, I'll give you a chance to follow it through. I'll try to make arrangements with your captain. Give me Captain Morris, please. Oh, come in, Mac. Anything new on the case?
Well, nothing worth mentioning, Captain. I questioned everyone in the neighborhood, and no one has ever seen the woman before. No one seems to know who she is or where she came from. I got something, though, Captain. Of course, it may not be worthwhile, but anything that looks like a lead would be welcome to me.
What's that?
Well, a fellow who runs a smoke shop near the scene says that a big blue touring car passed up and down the street several times just before the body was found. He says the last time it passed his shop, it was traveling at a high rate of speed.
All right. Put a pickup out on the car. Did you get a good description?
Not very good, but it'll be enough to go on. It's all we've got, Captain.
No, Mac. It isn't all we've got.
No?
No. Dr. Smith found a concussion on the side of the head that he said might have caused her death. He said it bore all the earmarks of a blow from a sandbag.
Well, now we're getting somewhere. If we only knew who this woman was.
Well, I have an idea that we'll know that very shortly. There wasn't a shred of identification on the body, but the morgue attendants filed a ring off the woman's finger, and it bore the inscription, "To Jesse from James, 1879. I gave the news to the afternoon papers.
There isn't much to go on.
But it brought returns as soon as it was published in the paper. You know Frank Egan?
Oh, the fellow who was once hired by the city as public prosecutor?
Yeah. Called me up about 10 minutes ago. Said he saw the story in the paper and went down to the morgue to identify the body. He thinks it was hit and run. He's coming up here in a few minutes to give us a lowdown.
What's Egan doing now?
Oh, only private practice as far as I know. He's a good lawyer.
But a bum sport. I was in Judge McKinney's court one time when
Yes?
Frank Egan is here to see you, Captain.
Oh, good. Show him in.
Yes, sir. This way, Mr. Egan.
Yeah, thanks.
Hello, Captain. You remember me?
Yeah. Sit down. This is Officer McGrady.
Glad to know you, officer.
How are you?
Well, I've identified your hit-and-run victim, Captain.
Yes?
Yeah, she's a client of mine, Mrs. Jessie Smallwood.
Are you positive of the identification?
Yes, I knew her quite well.
Where does she live?
Over on Trenton. I think the number is 1621. She's been a client of mine since her husband died. She hasn't a living relation, not a soul in the world.
It's too bad.
Fortunately, she left enough money to cover funeral expenses. I'll make the necessary arrangements.
Not so fast, Egan. We'll be compelled to hold the body for a few days, at least until the inquest.
Inquest?
Yeah. You see, we have an idea that her death wasn't accidental.
What?
Do you know of anyone who'd profit by her death?
I know. Who'd want to kill a poor, defenseless old woman? She didn't have over $100 to her name.
That's just what we're trying to find out.
Well, that's your business, but it looks to me like accidental death.
But not to us. Get your coat and hat, Mac. We're going out to the late Mrs. Smallwood's house on Trenton. If you'll just make sure of the address, Mr. Egan, you can run along home. You won't be needed.
This is the house, Captain.
Yeah.
The door seems to be bolted on the inside.
Yeah. Let's try the back door.
All right. Say, I'll bet there's a door connecting the garage with the back part of the house.
Looks like it, Mac. Try the garage door. Yeah.
Right. It's locked too, Captain.
Now, let me try this key. There we are.
You'd make a good cracksman, sir.
I might try it someday.
This garage is clean as a pin. Since Mrs. Smallwood didn't have a car... Look out. Don't step there, sir.
What do you see?
A tire print, Captain. Look. Look at this. This is the same thread that we found on Mrs. Smallwood's dress. And here's a spot where the tire track stops for a foot or so. Captain, that space represents where Mrs. Smallwood's body lay when the killer ran the car over to make it appear accidental.
Yes?
Owens and Rivers got a lead on that car. They found it parked over on Adams Street. They'll bring in a guy in.
Good. Send them in as soon as they arrive. Oh, Mac, you can lay off that phone a minute. Here's something new.
What is it, Captain?
Owens and Rivers just ran that big blue car down. They're bringing the driver in for questioning.
Now we're getting somewhere. Who's the guy?
They didn't say. What'd you find out on the phone?
Well, I called every insurance company in the book. One of them reported that Mrs. Smallwood recently took out three $5,000 policies on her life, each carrying double indemnity in case of accidental death.
There's our motive. Who was named as beneficiary?
They're looking that up. They said they'd call back around 6.
Come in.
Here's the driver of that car, sir.
Oh, good. Come in. I'm Captain Reynolds. What's your name?
Ed Buck.
Do you own the car that officers Owens and Rivers found you in?
Yes, sir, but...
Where do you work, Buck?
For the city. I'm a fireman.
Where were you the night before last, between 6 and 12 o'clock?
Well, that's what they've been trying to tell you. I was on duty. I went on duty at 6 that night until 6 the next morning. Well, I have a dozen witnesses.
Have you any explanation for your car being on Kenwood Way the night before last?
I certainly have. I loaned it to a friend of mine, Red Fisher.
Fisher? Red Fisher. Look that name up, Mac.
You needn't do that, Captain. I'll give you all the information you want. Red Fisher served 2 terms in state prison for first-degree robbery. He used to hang around the station house after he got out. He seemed to be trying to go straight, so Cap McNeil got him a job.
Where?
I don't know. The job was driving for someone, but I never heard who it was.
You say Red Fisher borrowed your car?
Yep.
What did he want with it?
He said he'd pull the rear end out of his boss's car and wanted to tow it to the garage.
How long did he use it?
I don't know. I gave him a note so he could get the car, but I don't know what time he brought it back. It was there the next morning when I went home.
Did you have any witness to Red Fisher asking for your car?
Yeah. 2 of the firemen.
All right. I guess Fisher's the guy we want. Get a pickup out on him, Mac.
Right, Captain. We'll have that bird inside of 24 hours.
Yes?
The boys just brought Red Fisher into headquarters, Captain.
Good work.
His mouthpiece is with him.
Who is he?
The mouthpiece is Frank Egan.
Egan, huh? Bring them both in.
Yes, sir.
Send a stenographer in here.
Here's the prisoner and his lawyer, sir.
Have chairs, please.
Thanks, Captain. Afternoon, officer.
Close that door, Mac.
Right.
You can sit over there, Mac. Now, Fisher, I don't mind telling you that you're in a pretty tough spot.
Says you. You both ain't got a thing on me.
Nevertheless, I see you brought a lawyer down with you.
Sure, I brought him. He's my boss. I drive for him. I'm wise to you, bulls. You'd frame me the first chance you got.
Frame you? Just like you said we did twice before, huh? Only this time we do it with a noose. Now, you listen to me. We have witnesses that you borrowed Ted Buck's car at 8 o'clock. You drove out to Mr. Smallwood's house and on some pretext or other got inside.
Says you.
No, there's two witnesses who saw the car drive into the garage. When you got inside the garage, you hit her with a sandbag and then ran the car over her to make it appear as an accident. Then, loading her into your car, you drove across town to Kenwood Way and dumped her out.
That's a lie. I'd suggest, Captain, that you be a bit more careful in arresting my client. These things will have to be proved, you know. After all, you failed to show motive.
Hello? Yeah? Who? All right. Thanks.
Now, as I was saying,
Pardon me just a moment. Hello, Tim. Send the desk sergeant to my office with a couple of murder warrants. Right.
Couple of what?
Murder warrants, Egan. Murder warrants. That was the insurance company calling. It seems that in addition to managing Mrs. Smallwood's affairs, you also took 3 insurance policies out on her life, naming yourself as beneficiary. And Egan, there's your motive.
Please postpone this thing.
Why?
Give us a chance.
No.
I've got to warn the other adults.
Your day is past.
Give us a year. Give us 6 months.
We take over the world within a week. If you don't like it, you can get off. Goodbye.
Hello? Hello? Listen, everybody. Listen to me.
Theater 5 presents Rebellion Next Week.
You're going to find it very hard to believe what I have to tell you, but you've got to listen carefully. It's about little Mary Newhall, a high school student in the town of Tewksbury. My name is Ethan Miller, and I teach English there. Mary is just a little girl with a C+ to C- average. To give you an idea of what she's like.
Gosh, Mr. Miller, you mean in only 3 weeks we've got to read a whole book and then think about it and then write a book report? 2 whole pages.
That
Golly.
is Mary Newhall. You'd never think that every adult in the civilized world is in danger from the activities of that little girl, now would you? Well, listen. That day when she stopped after class to ask me about the book report.
Well, how short can the book be, Mr. Miller? I mean, can I report on The Man Without a Country?
Oh, well, that's a short story, Mary. You will report on a full-length book.
Oh. Well, all right then, Mr. Miller, but golly, all the teachers give us so much work.
Oh, Mary. Mary, did you leave this notebook here? Mary! Oh, well. I wasn't sure the notebook I discovered belonged to Mary, so I looked in it. It was filled with names and addresses. Addresses in our country and Canada and Europe, Asia and Africa. And that puzzled me, but it was Mary's notebook, all right. There on the front was a sticker saying, "I love Paul." And in a teenage scrawl that I recognized, her name, Mary Newhall. I happened to live near the Newhall, so on the way home I took the notebook to her house. Her father told me that she was in her study over the garage out back, so I went out there, climbed the stairs, and... When I got no answer, I tried the door. And then I realized that Mary hadn't heard me because she was in a room beyond the one that I was in. A room with a padlock on the door, but unlocked right now. And as I went toward it, I heard her
Frank,
talking.
The logistics of the situation will necessitate further delay. Oh, no, Frank. The consensus amongst our enlistees here in America is that the revolution need be postponed only 2 or 3 days maximum. The hypothesis on which we intend to proceed... Oh.
Hello, Mary.
Frank, hold on a moment. There's an adult here. Stay at the phone. I'll call you back.
Well, I'm sorry to interrupt your phone conversation, Mary.
Oh, golly, Mr. Miller. You made me jump.
You left your notebook at school.
Gee, where's my notebook? Oh, gosh, thanks a million, Mr. Miller.
There certainly are a lot of addresses in that notebook from all over the world, too.
Oh, yes, they're pen pals in the Beatles fan club all over the world.
Mary.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Mary, I heard you talking on that phone.
Oh, gosh, that's embarrassing.
It was very strange talk for a young girl.
You mean all that stuff about revolution and everything? Oh, that was me and my friend Frank. It's a game we play over the telephone.
No, Mary. I don't know what was happening when I came in here, but it wasn't a game. I heard words like logistics and hypothesis and other...
Gosh, I don't even know what they mean. Frank and me, we learned all that stuff out of a book.
Oh? And who is Frank?
Oh, he's just a boy. You don't know him. He's younger than me. Then I...
Mary.
Yes, Mr. Miller.
Why has the dial on that phone got only letters on it? Why hasn't it got any numbers?
Oh, well,
Or wires? Or any cord?
Mr. Miller, you caught me. There isn't really any Frank. I just pretend over the toy telephone, that's all.
Mary, I could hear Frank's voice, someone's voice, answering you on that phone.
Yes, sir.
Now, I want the truth.
About what, Mr. Miller?
About you. About Frank and about that telephone. About this revolution you were just talking about. About that notebook, too. It's not just a list of pen pals, now is it, Mary?
You want to know quite a lot.
I certainly do.
All right.
How did that door close?
I closed it.
But you never moved. You just sat there and it closed behind me and... Let me see.
Oh, it's quite impossible to open it, Mr. Miller, until I release it.
Mary Newhall, just what's the meaning of all this?
Well, that's what we're going to discuss. Oh, sit down, Mr. Miller. That's better. I assume that sometime while you were being somewhat skimpily educated at the university, Mr. Miller, that you learned something about the evolution of man.
Can you be the same child to whom I've been giving C's?
Oh, a child to whom you gave C's, Mr. Miller, is a noxious character that I created. A role I played, shall we say, so that I could get through the days and years until the rebellion could be launched. The rebellion. You did learn something about evolution in that rather ridiculous college you went to, didn't you?
Yes.
Then you know, of course, that our species could not have survived had it not been that we met the needs for survival by developing ever upwards. Now, the Java man, our ancestor, could never have lasted had he stood still.
I know all that, Mary. I'm surprised that you do, too,
And we can't survive. Mankind, the way mankind is right now, can't survive unless we change.
But you were talking on the phone about revolution.
That's right. Suppose that you, with the brain that you possess, had been born into a society of cavemen. Do you think they would have listened to you?
I'm sure I can't tell you, but that's beside the point, Mary. I want to know
I'll
what...
get to everything you want to know. Look at that window.
How did you make that happen?
You want to hear some music? We have no phonograph here, have we? And yet, listen.
Good heavens.
Now, if you had been born into the age of the caveman, Mr. Miller, you would have been as far in advance of him as I am in advance of you. Do you want to turn the world over to me? Do you want me to govern you?
I believe in self-government.
Oh, well, that's the answer you would have gotten from the caveman. You would have had to revolt. So my friends and I are going to have to revolt.
Your friends? Who? What are your friends?
Mutants, Mr. Miller. Occasionally in heredity, there's a sudden variation in the norm. I'm a mutant, and there are several million mutants like me, all of us children, chronologically, but infinitely wiser than you grown-ups. Oh, if we leave the world to you, the world will perish. So we're taking over.
Mary, open that door. I want to get out of here.
No, Mr. Miller. I'm afraid you're the first victim of our revolution.
What are you going to do with me?
Well, you'll find out in a minute.
All right, never mind me. What are you going to do to the world? You say you're going to take it over. But what are you going to do with it?
You may rest assured that we shall not do with it what you grown-ups have done. We shall not dress young men in soldier suits and give them weapons with which to kill each other. We shall not dig shelters in which people may crouch and cower while bombs drop on their cities. We shall not allow some to starve while others grow fat. All the systems that you adults have invented are childish to us. Oh, here's Helen.
Why was the door shut, Mary? You knew I was coming. Why did you... Oh, Mr. Miller.
Get out of the doorway, Helen.
I'm getting out of here.
Sorry, Mr. Miller. You're not leaving.
Oh, gee whiz, Mr. Miller. I'm sure glad to see you because I was going to ask Mary about the homework. Do we have to
Never
do all
mind, Helen.
Well, what do you mean?
Apparently, Helen, she means that you're a mutant, too. And you don't pretend any longer. Because I know your secret.
That's quite true, Helen.
In that case, we'll have to immobilize him, Mary.
I know, but how? This, of course, is a test of our principled position.
What principled position, for heaven's sake?
I know. Have you talked to Frank about this?
Not yet. I'll call him now. Frank? Mary here. No, the adult is still present. What's that? Oh, yes, immobilization, of course. The question is, which type of immobilization?
We can't let him out of this room.
Oh, that was Helen, Frank. She's right, of course. If he got out of this room, we wouldn't have any power to... Freezing, huh?
Freezing?
You think freezing fits in all right with our principled position? Yes, it's a rather nice problem, but I think you're right. All right. Bye.
We freeze him?
We freeze him. And right away, Helen.
I listened intently to everything that was said during Mary's phone conversation with Frank. These children, far more brilliant than I could ever be, and far more powerful, intended to freeze me. But I didn't panic. I had noted that to call Frank, Mary had simply dialed F. And I'd also noted her saying that if I got out of this room, they would have no more power over me. I determined
Mary,
to get
I'm
out
not
as soon as
sure.
possible.
Our principled position commits us to nonviolence.
Frank feels that freezing is nonviolent.
He may be making a distinction without a difference. But pragmatically, he's right.
I wouldn't worry. It may be unpleasant, but it's nonviolent. You see, Mr. Miller, the whole point of our revolution is that we're sickened by the violence you adults have unleashed in the world.
So you'll freeze me, whatever that means. But just because there are no ropes or chains, you tell yourselves that you're not being violent. Well, I am your victim. And I say it is violent.
You have a certain point. But we're in no position to consider it.
Oh, let's get on with the freezing.
No, wait.
Well?
Well, look, this has all been a tremendous surprise to me. It's hard for me to take in. You can understand that, I'm sure. But if you can convince me that you really have learned so much more than grown-ups, it might reconcile me to what you're going to do to me. If I were reconciled, it wouldn't really be violent.
What do you want us to do?
Well, before you came, Mary seemed to pluck music out of the atmosphere. Can you do that, too?
Yes, Mr. Miller, I can.
It's amazing. And somehow it helps me to understand. Can you do all of the things Mary can do? She just sat there and made that window open without touching it.
I can do all of those things. See the window?
Thank you.
Oh, stop, Mr. Miller!
It was a 2-story drop, and I was stunned for a moment just lying there. And then I heard those children coming after me. I scrambled to my feet, ran through the backyard, and climbed the fence as I kept going toward the center of town. I was headed toward the police station. I wanted those children, those monsters, captured and locked up. I was pretty sure they could hurt me only in that room over the garage that I just escaped from. I wanted to maneuver them into a trap. And so I thought of an alley between the police station and the East End garage. They followed me as I ran into it and turned to face them.
Come on, Helen. In here.
I'm coming.
Well, Mr. Miller, do you give up?
I should think not. Come and get me.
Take him on the right, Mary. I'll take him on the left.
Wait a minute, Helen. What can you be thinking of? Put that stick down.
I'm sorry. I've compromised our principles. But the alternative is unthinkable. We can't jeopardize the revolution. We can't let the grown-ups continue their folly.
Well, he can't move out of this alley without coming toward us. And if he does, I'll show you how to defeat him.
Well, I am coming toward you, and we'll see who defeats whom. All right, Chief, all right. Arrest him.
Oh, Chief, I'm so glad you're here. Golly, I don't know what got into Mr. Miller. He went all funny and chased us into this alley.
Yes. Oh, gee, I'm awful glad we were near the police station. I was scared to death.
Chief, don't listen to these children.
Now, what is going on here?
Gosh, I don't know, Chief. Mr. Miller started chasing us and yelling things we didn't understand.
Oh, now, I can't believe that of Mr. Miller.
We couldn't either. We didn't even run at first, did we, Mary?
No, but when he started to grab
Chief, will you please listen to me?
Oh, he scares me the way he shouts.
Now, calm down. I'll listen to you, Ethan.
Well, Chief, these children are planning to overthrow the government.
Now, what kind of talk is that?
Look at that pocketbook there. You see that notebook? Mary, give him your notebook.
Well, what about it?
Oh, it's my pen pal's notebook. Here, you can have it.
Look at the names and addresses in that notebook, Chief. She says they're pen pals, but she doesn't write to them. She telephones.
Oh, no. Wait a minute, Ethan. Here's one in Tibet. You want me to believe that she telephones him?
Look, Chief, believe it or not, these children are engaged in a conspiracy.
Gosh, Mr. Miller's flipped his lid.
Chief, I've been the school teacher in this town for 7 years. Did I ever seem crazy to you before?
No.
All right, then. Just what am I accused of?
Maybe he was molesting us.
I read once where a teacher ran it.
Shut up, you. I mean, this is a terrible misunderstanding. Now, Chief, I claim there's something very, very wrong with these 2 girls. Maybe my claims seem pretty strange to you. But if these 2 are innocent, they'd be willing to sit and wait for a while in the station house if you asked them to. Now, wouldn't they?
Well, I should certainly hope they'd respect my badge.
All right then. Please, take them to the station house and let me go for half an hour.
Well, what for?
To gather evidence, to clear my name.
All right, Ethan, all right. You kids willing to come to the station house with me?
Oh, sure. Oh, if you go by my house, Mr. Miller, tell Mama I may be late for supper.
I hurried back to the room over the garage, and I started searching. I knew I had to produce some evidence. but I couldn't find anything. I remembered what the children had said about the way we grown-ups had made a mess of the world. I remembered their policy of nonviolence. And then I thought of the world we live in. The dread of the bomb, poverty, slums and crime, suspicion and fear among nations. And suddenly, I knew what I wanted to do. I picked up the phone and I dialed F.
Hello, Mary. What happened?
This isn't Mary, Frank. This is the adult she told you about.
Yes?
I want to say to you, Frank, that I understand what you children are trying to do.
Go on.
And I agree that it is necessary.
That makes you somewhat brighter than most of mankind.
But I want to ask you one thing, Frank. Please. Please postpone your revolution.
Why?
Give us a chance. I'll warn the other adults. I'll preach to them on the street corners.
No.
I'll tell them that we've got to be neighbors and brothers to each other. Please give us a year.
No.
Give us 6 months, then.
No. You adults had your chance. Your day is past. We take over within a week. And there will be no postponement.
But Please, no, listen to me. Come back, Frank. Hello? Hello? Please answer. Please. It was a toy phone again. And there was no other evidence. No other evidence. I went back to the police station, told my story, and Chief Hobbs simply laughed at me. He called the superintendent of schools, and he told me to get out of town. That was yesterday. Last night, the school board met, and they fired me. I'm disgraced and out of my job now. But that doesn't matter. Listen to me. Listen to me, everybody. The rebellion is next week. We have less than a week to make this a decent world.
Okay, come on, Ethan. Now move along.
Listen to me. The rebellion is coming.
Come on, Ethan.
Listen to me.
Has presented Rebellion Next Week, written by Robert Senadella and directed by Warren Somerville. Script editor Jack Wilson. In the cast, Bryna Rayburn, Evelyn Juster, Ivor Francis, and Bob Hastings. Audio engineer Marty Folia. Sound technician Ed Blaney. Original music by Alexander Vlastotsenko. Orchestra under the direction of Glenn Osser. Executive producer for Theater 5, Edward A. Byron. We invite your comments. Write to Theater 5, Box 233, New York, New York. This is Fred Foy speaking.
Ooh, tough one. J. Is it journal?
Afraid not.
Jumper.
Keep guessing.
It's not Julian again, is it?
Why, yes, it is. Very well done, old chap. There's certainly no flies on you when it comes to a cut-and-thrust game of I Spy.
Although you have done Julian 3 times in a row now, Peter.
In my defense, there aren't too many things beginning with J in the room.
But it doesn't always have to start with the letter J.
Really? The rules must have changed since I last played. Must they always fiddle with the classics?
Just looking in your tin, you could have had Jaffa cakes or jelly babies, jammy dodgers even.
I do have rather a sweet tooth.
Or I'd even have allowed junk mail, that big pile of unopened envelopes sitting on your desk.
Well, it's nice to have things to look forward to.
Yeah, and it's good to take a break every now and then. I think we've all been working a little too hard recently.
I can only agree. Look at last week. On one day alone, I had to call 3 emergency meetings.
And you still can't remember why you called them?
Haven't the foggiest. Can't have been too important, otherwise I'm sure we'd have heard something about...
Peter!
Heavens! They've come for me!
Peter,
Why didn't you tell us?
Tell you what?
I've just had a call from a location manager apologising for the film crew being late. The film crew? Apparently there's a period drama coming to shoot at Plum House today. She's saying this all had been okayed last week with a certain Peter Knight.
Hold on. That's my name.
I'm sure Peter would have remembered if he'd okayed the arrival of the
Actually, now you mention it, I did agree for a large film crew to come and shoot a few scenes of their serial here today. That's why I called those emergency meetings. Thank goodness we got to the bottom of that.
Do you even remember what the name of the programme was, Peter?
Nothing I'd ever heard of. Something to do with margarine and a country house.
Oh, my God! You don't mean Buttermere Hall?
That's the badger.
Plum House by Ben Cottam and Paul McKenna. Episode 6. Lights, Camera, Pudding.
Wait, Buttermere what?
Buttermere Hall! It's the Cumbrian pole dog!
Oh, my God. At the end of the second series.
When Charlotte didn't come to the chapel.
Because she knew she could never marry Lord Rydal.
Because she loved the baddie Josiah Welbeck, who thought he'd won the slate mine from Lord Rydal by rigging the game of whist. Oh! But it all got discovered by Peter Crummer, the local blacksmith done good, who is played by...
Christopher Tennyson! The most beautiful man who ever lived.
So it's a TV show, is it?
It's the Cumbrian Pole Dog.
I can't help thinking the television industry has been going downhill ever since Dixon of Dock Green. Now, there was some real excitement.
I imagine this film crew will all want feeding as well, no doubt. Could be a nice bit of business. I better get baking.
I think they'll probably be bringing caterers with them, actually, Maureen.
Yes, but their idea of catering is probably bowls of them London salads they have down there.
I'm surprised you actually agreed to them coming in the first place, Peter.
These aren't any old people we're welcoming into our loving arms, Tom. These are actors, the most noble and exciting of all the professions. Why, but for misfortune, I might have been treading the boards myself.
I never knew you wanted to act, Peter.
Oh, yes, it was my greatest wish. When I was but a slip of a thing, I was cast in my boarding school's all-male production of Antony and Cleopatra as no less than the Queen of the Nile herself. Well, from the moment I put that dress on, something just clicked. But alas, it was not to be. Mumps was diagnosed and an understudy had to fill my heels. Oh, how I wept in the sanatorium.
But why didn't you try again later? Have another bash.
Because sadly, as we know well, passion and aptitude are rarely there in equal footing. I would drift to sleep at night, wishing I could unleash my bottom on an enthusiastic audience. A Midsummer Night's Dream was to be the next term's production, you understand? But I knew that in my heart of hearts, I wasn't cut out for such a part. You see, I never had the voice. I never had the presence. The gravitas!
Well, maybe they'll have a little part for you today, Peter. Well, you never know. They could always need an extra in the background.
Do you really think so?
There's no harm in asking.
Here they come. Right, everybody, try and be ultra helpful today.
I'll go and get some food in the oven.
I mean, like we said, I'm sure they'll have their own food.
Yes, but the proof of the pudding is in the eating.
A phrase very often attributed to the great George Pudding himself. It's a little-known fact that the great man frequently got out of paternity disputes by simply eating the birth certificate. He wrote a poem about it once.
Peter, well, why don't you mostly just stay in your office today?
That'll give me ample time for my vocal warm-ups. Round the ragged rocks, the ragged...
I think I need to go to the toilet, if that's all right, Tom.
Yeah, I've told you before, Alan, you really don't need to ask permission.
No, I mean, the outside loo's been leaking. I should probably have a look before they get here.
Oh, yeah, okay, great. Julian, I guess you should keep a lookout for other members of the public, just in case somebody turns up. You can give them a tour?
Tour? Public? Actually, I'm a bit busy, Tom. Sorry.
Really? With what?
I've got all these letters to open.
Yeah, fine, okay. Well, let's just show this film crew why we're now the best attended museum in the local area.
I've never even heard of this Buttermere Hall.
Oh, Julian, it's the Cumbrian Poldark. Everyone knows that.
I guess I'll open these letters then. This one
seems to be from the electricity people.
Is it good news?
Oh, dear. I'm afraid it isn't, Peter.
Okay, Barry, left hand down a little bit. You can bring the camera truck closer to me. Yeah, closer to me.
Look how many people there are. All these fancy trailers. They must be for the stars of the show.
Let me just give you a little bit of advice, Tom. As somebody who once met Chris Akabusi when he came to her school to open the new assembly hall, celebrities just want to be treated like normal people, okay? So don't go getting too excited. I learnt that lesson the hard way with Akabusi that day.
Hi, do you two work here?
Yes, hi, I'm Tom. And...
Great, I'm Harriet, the director. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but we're really pushed for time.
Sure. I'm Emma, by the way.
Hi, Emma. Basically, we're running late because all of your neighbours seem to think that the grey flat bits we call roads are actually paths for their cows and sheep, so we could really do with your help getting all the kit out. Chris really does not like to be kept waiting, if you catch my drift.
Yeah, of course. Well, when we're happy to help, really, in whatever way we...
as in Christopher Tennyson?
That's right, yeah.
Oh, my God, Christopher Tennyson. Is he here now? Where is he? How do I look?
A bit mad, actually.
I'm sorry, I've got the Bottomere Hall calendar, and here's the photo for March, getting out of the lake after he's been for a swim. It's August now, and I just can't bear to turn the page.
Excuse me, I'm sorry to interrupt, Harriet.
What is it?
The minibus with all the extras is broken down. It overheated while they were waiting for a herd of cows to cross the road.
You're kidding me.
They're not going to make it in time.
Right, say hello to your new extras.
Sorry, do you mean us?
Would you mind? They can play a couple in the background. Let's get them into hair and makeup right away.
I'm going to be in Bottomere Hall with Christopher Tennyson. I'm going to be in Bottomere Hall!
And can we get her to take it down a notch, please?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Chris really doesn't like people bothering him and asking for autographs or anything.
Right.
Actually, Tony, where is Chris?
Well, he's around somewhere, I think. I think he might have gone for a comfort break. But he did want to have a chat with you again before we go on camera.
Oh, what is it this time?
He was worrying about his motivation for the scene, I think.
Again? His motivation is just has to say the bloody words and then we all get to go home.
Might let you tell him that. Come on then, you two. Do you want to follow me?
Tom, smell my breath. Does it smell okay? Tom.
This is it. Your signature, technical bake, and showstopper all rolled into one.
Knock, knock. Hey, sorry to bother you. I'm with the catering department. I was wondering whether we might be able to store some of our food in here just to stop the flies getting at it.
It's all salads, I bet. Well, don't worry, love. I've got a couple of pies and cakes in the oven. They won't go hungry.
There is a salad option, but there's also a trout, pea and chorizo fricassee, and this. A portobello, mushroom, spinach and feta lasagna with roast butternut squash.
You are?
So is it all right to just pop them on the side?
Yeah, OK. And then for pudding, people can buy some of the lemon drizzle cake I've just stuck in the oven.
We do have some chai sticky toffee date pudding for afterwards. The crew tend to go for things like that rather than the more basic stuff.
Only I've got quite a lot of food in the oven now, so someone's going to have to buy it.
So did anyone ask you to make that food?
Not specifically, no.
If you'd rather I didn't leave the food in here, I can just keep it outside.
Oh, no, don't you worry. Bring it all in here, love. Maureen will keep an eye on it.
Maybe we could just call this electricity company and explain that they needn't worry. We will be sending them some money soon. It's just that we don't have any at the moment. I'm sure they're reasonable chaps.
Yes, it's just that we haven't paid them in some time now, Peter.
What happened to our electricity budget?
We moved most of it over to our fixing the roof budget, and that got stolen. The rest went on sweets and biscuits for your tin.
I do have a sweet tooth.
But, Peter, they're going to cut us off on Friday.
I just don't believe it.
I know.
Tom and Emma are outside trying on costumes. What about old Peter? Must I always be a backstage boy? It looks like my relaxed attitude isn't going to get me anywhere in this biz. It's time to put myself out there.
But what do I do about the electricity, Peter?
I'll leave that in your very capable hands, Julian. More dramatic adventures are afoot.
I guess I could give them a quick call.
And the straight bit's connected to the bent bit, and the brass bit's connected to the other brass bit. Sorry, won't be long.
Hello, it's Christopher Tennyson out here.
Yes, it's Alan Walsh in here.
No, sorry, did you hear me? I said it's Christopher Tennyson. Our Portaloos aren't here yet. I've been told to use this old thing.
Yes, I heard you. Alan Walsh. I don't think we've met.
Right, I really don't want to be like this, but I'm quite important.
So is this cistern downpipe. If it's not fettled properly, it'll keep dripping on your head. Just give me 2 ticks.
Come on, mate.
That's it. That's a job well done.
Hello. finally. I thought I was going to have to call my agent.
What, and use their toilet?
No, I meant I'm actually quite vital to this whole production. I really don't have time to be kept waiting.
You did say who you are, but I'm very sorry. I've gone blank.
Christopher Tennyson.
Yes, I'm none the wiser.
You genuinely don't know who I am?
No, I haven't the foggiest, but, Christopher, let me give you a little bit of advice.
People really don't give me advice.
Ah, then you'll definitely be after some. Don't always be in such a hurry. There's no rush. Problems will pop up in your way, but as long as you stay calm and tackle them one by one, you'll get there in the end. Today, I fixed a dripping cistern. Tomorrow, it might be repairing a cracked sink splashback, or planing a door that's fouling on a floor, painting a wall, painting a window, painting a skirting board. There's no need to do them jobs with anything other than a smile on your face. If you put your arms out in the morning and don't feel the wood of a coffin lid, fantastic. Anything extra is a bonus.
What do they call you here?
Alan.
No, I mean at the museum.
Caretaker, I suppose, but I've never been one for flashy titles.
Do you know, you actually remind me of me, Alan.
Really?
Well, not the actual me. I'm a very successful actor, but Peter Crummock, the character that I'm playing in Buttermere Hall, he's a salt-of-the-earth, naively profound blacksmith.
I don't think I'd like to be shoeing horses all day. I don't even enjoy putting my own shoes on.
Well, I've always struggled with the motivation for the character, just because I didn't believe anybody like that really existed, you know, taking joy from such a dull sort of existence, but perhaps it's worth us having a bit more of a chat.
I'm not really one for chats, me. I'm the kind of man who just likes to let my work do the talking. So when I fixed the septic tank, I like to think it said, "Good job, Alan. That's much nicer for everyone."
Where do you get this stuff from? I could kiss you.
Please don't. Mr. Knight said that once at our Christmas party, and I actually shut myself in the boot of my car.
Tell me, Alan, what do you want? What does somebody like you want more than anything in the world?
That's a tricky one. Oh, yes. I'd like a new spade. The handle on mine's broke. It's just like a big trowel now. It's no good at all. You always need the right tool for the right job.
Oh, hold on. I'm going to have to start writing this down.
Right tool.
Right tool.
Right job.
Right job.
Alan.
OK, and I think here will be nice. Get some of the house in. Can we cheat that urn into shot? And Adam...
yeah?
I'd like 2 cameras on this, one on roving singles.
Excuse me, I'm looking for the man in charge.
Excuse me, I'm the woman in charge. What's the problem?
Now, listen here, I am the curator of this museum, and I'm utterly outraged, nay, incensed at the idea of you blundering in here. Yes, with my permission, admittedly, but then pointing your golden finger willy-nilly at whoever you deem fit to be on the silver screen, not giving any consideration to their past achievements, their aptitude, their breathing technique, and whether they've done the minimal vocal warm-ups needed truly to project and enunciate even the most basic...
Sorry, I'm actually in a bit of a rush. What is it that you want?
I'd like to appear in your film.
Fine. Can somebody take the gentleman to costume and makeup? Let's get him in the background somewhere.
OK.
Actually, he can be the gardener who offers Chris the apple. I think there's a line. Can someone check that?
Oh, Peter Knight, for you, like Ethel Merman before you. Everything's coming up roses for you.
Just turn a bit to the left.
Sure, sorry. Yep, okay.
Ooh, look at us, getting our hair and makeup done like a right pair of film stars.
It's crazy, isn't it? Although I'm not sure I'll ever quite be leading man material.
Oh, I don't know. You seem to scrub up all right.
Well, you know, you look very nice as well.
I should hope so. Did you see how much makeup she put on me? I started to take it a bit personally when they used the whole tub of concealer.
I don't think you need any makeup at all.
Oh my god. Christopher Tennyson's just walked in.
Is that him? Really, I thought he was supposed to be handsome.
Oh, he's gorgeous.
Well, I can't really see it myself.
Ooh, he's coming past us. Just keep it cool, Tom, and don't say anything.
I'm not going to say anything.
I think you're amazing.
Sorry?
I just think you're great.
Right, thanks.
I'm Tom. This is Emma.
I'm Tom.
I'm Emma.
Yeah. I don't want to be that guy or anything, but I'd actually prefer it if we didn't talk too much. Just because I'm currently in the process of trying to ingest some interesting ideas I organically picked up from a local workman, and I'd like some quiet time to think about how I can try and take some of the essence of that naive working-class attitude and apply it to a character that up until this point has been really lacking any form of believable motivation.
once I met Chris Agabusi, and I was so excited that milk came out of my nose.
Right.
Chris, here you are. The horse guys want a word with you before they mic you up. Going to show you how to dismount at the top of the scene.
Yeah, I've had some thoughts about my character. I think we need to discuss.
Again? Okay, let's have a chat in a minute. In the meantime, you two need to get out on set pronto. We're already a bit behind, and we need to get you on camera for the kissing scene.
The kissing scene?
Yeah, you're playing a couple who are kissing as Chris's character arrives. Did nobody say anything? Is that going to be a problem?
No, absolutely no problem with that at all. Is there, Emma?
Wow.
It's great. So, no, we're happy to help you out in any way that we can.
Great.
When are we having that chat, Harriet?
Oh, yeah, don't worry, Chris, I won't forget.
We're going to have to kiss.
Oh, dear, believe me, Emma, I am not happy about this either.
Excuse me, are you Christopher Tennyson?
I don't do autographs, I'm sorry.
I am Peter Knight, curator of Plum House.
You always dress like that?
Ah, you must be referring to this leather apron and cloth cap combo. Well, in addition to being curator here, I'm also an actor. Another one of my many hats. I mean, I know I'm wearing this cloth cap, but I mean hats, not figures.
I am actually quite busy, Peter.
Yes, well, this is what I'm trying to say, if you let me get a word in. I, too, am preparing for a scene with you, as it happens, and I don't want you showing me up.
Okay.
Quick rehearsal. It says in the script, you dismount your horse and I'm the gardener. And I hold this apple out to you and I say, a ripe apple for you, sir, and you take it. So let's try that now.
Sorry, you want me to...
A ripe apple for you, sir! Sorry, no, probably more. A ripe apple for you, sir! Actually, just let me try something. This is why we rehearse. A ripe apple for you, sir?
Do you have any idea who I...
No, don't speak. You've no line here. And hold my gaze. And hold it. And hold it. It's the eyes. The eyes have it. Hold it. And take the apple. I'm Eve. You're Adam. I'm nude. You're captivated. Take it. Take it. Bite into the flesh. Was there ever an apple so piquant, so delicious to the taste?
Tony, I don't have time for this.
You're giving me very little to work with here. I don't want to say that was lifeless, but... Are there no professionals left in the theatre?
Your call matters to us.
You could have fooled me.
One of our operators will be with you shortly.
Ah, hello. My name's Julian, and... No, oh, for goodness... Oh, God, I've got a good mind to come down
We're
there.
Energen. How can we help you today?
A person? Am I speaking to a real person now? Are you real?
Yes, I'm real.
Oh.
I'm Kelly, and I'm part of Energen's Connecting You team. What can I help you with?
I'm ringing about account 8011664.
Okay, and you're the bill payer, are you?
Would I ring if I wasn't?
And what's your password?
I'm sorry?
The password that was originally given when you were setting up the account by, Mr. P. Knight.
Peter? Oh, God, it could be anything.
I'm going to need that password to continue with...
Wait, let me think. Is it Plum?
No,
Plums? With an S?
it's not anything to do with plums.
I don't believe this. 50 minutes I've been on the call. Now you're telling me that
I'm afraid that if you don't know the password, sir, I can't...
Wait, hold on. Is it pudding?
Yes, it is.
Get in there! God, I'm good.
I presume you're ringing about the impending disconnection, because ideally you would need to speak to our Disconnecting You team about that.
Now, look, you've got to understand that we are a small rural museum dedicated to George Pudding.
Is that type of dessert?
Oh, forget it. Look, all you need to know is that this year hasn't been great. I mean, I say this year, but I mean the past few years. We operate in a very difficult climate. It rains a lot. It's nearly always cold and dark. So we do use our fair share of electricity, even if we don't have quite the money to pay for it. But I'm ringing to tell you that we will pay it. And what's not great about this is that we get a letter this morning telling us that we're getting disconnected on Friday.
All I can see here is, looking at my monitor, sorry, when did you say you were being disconnected?
Well, we don't want to be disconnected, but Friday, apparently.
Oh, dear, it looks like we might have made a mistake.
Oh, really? Oh, that is good news. I knew you wouldn't have the heart.
According to this, it looks like we ought to be cutting you off today. Thanks so much for bringing this to our attention.
You can't do that. Right, I wish to make a complaint.
I can put you through to our complaints department.
You are a robot. This is Kafkaesque.
Have a nice day.
Hello, I just wanted to pick up those trays of food at the... Hold on.
Oh, heck, look, what's happened?
Then why are they soaked in water? All the food's ruined.
I think what must have happened is you've left everything under that drip in the ceiling.
What drip in the ceiling?
Oh, it's stopped now.
But it hasn't even been raining.
These things just happen sometimes, love. But on the bright side, I did manage to finish doing all my own baking. So we might be able to save your blushes and just serve that instead.
What, a couple of old pies and a lemon drizzle cake?
Do you have any better ideas?
No. I guess that'll have to do.
Great. That'll be £52.90, please.
Okay, I see what you mean, but Alan made a lovely suggestion. After I get off the horse, I walk along this wall, I just pop my hand out like that. I just keep checking that none of the stones are loose. That's what Alan does when he gets out of his car.
Sorry, Chris, that's the third time you've mentioned him now. Who is this Alan? Is he some sort of advisor?
I suppose you could call him that.
Okay, well, I want you to do whatever feels natural and whatever makes you happy.
That's what Alan would say.
Fine. So you arrive at the house, get off your horse, pass the other guests who are arriving, take the apple from the gardener, a bite of it, and then into the house.
What about maybe halfway through, just a glance up at the slates on the roof, check they're all level?
An Alan idea?
I'm so glad we're on the same page.
Standing by to turn over in 5 minutes, please.
Christopher's probably having a word with the director now and seeing if he can kiss me instead.
We should probably keep to the scene very much as they wanted it done.
What, Barry? Yeah, it's a bit windy, mate.
This is mad, isn't it?
How do you mean?
All these people at Plum House rushing about, filming. You and me, dressed like this, about to have a kiss.
Not what you thought would happen when you came to work at Plum House?
Not really. When I came for my interview, Peter thought I was a burglar and locked me in a cupboard. Then Julian lost the key for the cupboard. Alan had to get me out with a crowbar. By then, I'd missed the train home, so I ended up staying. I'm not sure they even intended to give me a job, but since you've been here, it's been great. Nothing like this would have happened before.
You're very kind. I wish I could get the guys here to appreciate you more. I mean, I appreciate you, obviously. I actually think an awful lot of you, Emma. What I'm trying to say...
Right apple for you, sir.
Peter.
Picked from the garden with this old leathery hand of mine. Not much good to me, this other hand, governor. Crimea. A Russian ran a bayonet clean through it. Not been the same since, it ain't. You know, sometimes when I close my eyes, I'm back at Balaclava.
Are you okay, Peter?
I'm rehearsing my lines.
God, they've given you that much to say.
I'm riffing around it a little. I've now decided that my character's a Cockney, raised in a poorhouse near Whitechapel.
Maybe best to stick to your own accent, Peter.
Okay, can we make sure everyone's at starting positions, please?
So when I walk past that water butt, I could dip my fingers in, just wash my face a bit.
There isn't time for you to do that, Chris.
Well, you need to meet Alan.
When you two are quite finished. Sorry, who are you? What do you want? Maureen Longstaff, Chief Caterer. Where's this food need put in? Oh, right, sorry. Is this the old prop food I said we needed for the horse's trough, yes? Oh, that looks disgusting. It's perfect.
I beg your pardon?
Just chuck it in the trough. That'll look great on camera.
You've got some brass neck.
Wait a minute. If I put my food in there, will it be on the telly? Yes.
All right, then. There's not many folk can say they've had their food on the telly, and you lot can always help yourself afterwards to anything the horse leaves.
Peter Knight.
Yes?
I'm a little concerned that Tennyson and I haven't rehearsed enough. You see, I give him this ripe apple.
But I'm thinking now I'd want you to keep the apple.
That would make sense. You probably pity me. After all, you see, I'm playing him very much as this Crimean War veteran who came back to find his wife and daughter dead from diphtheria.
Can you play him as a gardener who gives Chris an apple? And Chris, can you play it as a man who eats the apple? Okay?
But will we be like that?
Exactly. You didn't make much of an impression before, Tennyson, but I can see there's an acting brain in there somewhere. I mean, you're no Edith Evans, but...
Right, everyone in positions, ready for a take.
Stand by to turn over. Quiet, please. Turn over.
Sound. Speed.
And... action!
What's
happened now?
I'm afraid we've been cut off. I did my best, but yeah, we have no power.
Oh, must fortune's wheel always cast me down just as I'm on the verge of acting?
Tom, I'm still going to be in shot with Christopher Tennyson, aren't I?
Be a shame if our kiss didn't make it.
Where's our backup generator?
Stuck with the extras, I'm afraid, boss. Hello. Can I be of any assistance?
Are you a miracle worker?
That's Alan. And yes, I think he just might be.
He's arrived. They've sent us a copy of the episode.
Brilliant. God, I hope it's okay.
Well, we have Alan to thank.
Yes, if you hadn't have stepped in with that generator, Alan, I think civil war would have broken out.
Hey, you don't need to thank me. I got a new spade out of it in the end. That nice Christopher lad sent it to me as a gift.
Really?
The only thing that's a little bit puzzling is that he's written his name on it. Maybe he was going to keep it for his own garden.
I could always have it, Alan, if it's not right.
Maureen, where's our Betamax machine and television cabinet?
Oh, you can watch it on my laptop, Peter.
Steady on, old chap.
Bit low on battery. Best plug her in. Right. May I present to you, ladies and gentlemen, the screen debut of Plum House.
No, correction, Tom. We were in a film once before. An Italian film.
It was mucky, Tom.
Signor Pavese was not entirely honest about the kind of film he was making. It was, yes, something approaching a pornograph. This is what comes from doing deals in the back of limousines late at night.
I think we have a copy somewhere, Tom, if you'd like me to...
Right, anyway, may I present the first family-friendly Plum House feature, starring its current staff.
With food by Maureen. Shh, it's starting. This is exciting, isn't it?
Oh, Christopher. He's an accomplished horse rider, isn't he?
Well, we worked out he'd been in the Crimea too.
And here's Tom and Emma. Hello. Enjoying that a bit, eh, Tommy?
It's acting, Julian, actually, and that's great acting from Emma as well, sort of pretending to look at Christopher while kissing me.
There it is. That's my food in the trough.
It tasted delicious, Maureen, that shepherd's pie. It was very moist.
That might have been the horse dribbling over it.
Shh. Here I am.
Ripe apple for you, sir.
Yay! Is that it? Where's all my dialogue gone? I've been cut. All that bit about meeting Florence Nightingale? Gone.
You were great, Peter. You've stolen the show.
Oh, Maureen, that's very kind.
No. Power's gone.
Julian.
I thought we paid. I'll get the generator.
Don't go thinking every time you put the generator on you get a new spade. You don't.
Actually, chaps, nice as it was to see the fruits of our labours, I have another idea. We've been working really rather too hard of late, so I suggest, nay, insist on a grand group outing to the pub. Hooray! But let me just say now, I want everyone in tomorrow, 9 a.m. sharp, for an emergency meeting.
Not again.
Righto.
What about this time?
Do you know, I can't for the life of me remember, but I'm sure it's nothing to worry about. Come on! To the public house! Mine's a sherry.
Plum House was written by Ben Cottam and Paul McKenna. It starred Simon Callow, Jane Horrocks and Miles Jopp, with Tom Bell, Piers Quigley and Louise Ford. Christopher Tennyson was played by Darren Boyd. Harriet, Karina Fernandez. Tony, Rob Jarvis, and Julie, Tyler Zuki. Plum House was script edited by Sarah Cartwright and directed by Paul Schlesinger. It was a hat-trick production for the BBC.
As always, thank you for joining us for Sunday Night with Old Time Radio. We'll be on the air next Sunday night, 13 April 2025, and we hope that you'll be able to join us. So until then, or next time, sleep tight. This is a production of Lovato Studios, Sao Paulo, Brazil.